Good morning, B. How are you doing today?
Good morning, A. I'm doing great, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing good as well. Let's get to work. I have a new project that needs a team to handle it.
That sounds great. What's the project about?
We're developing a new software for our clients. It's going to be a challenging but exciting project.
I'm up for it. What role will I play?
I was thinking you could be the project coordinator. You have great communication skills and attention to detail.
Sure. Who else is on the team?
I've already assigned C, D, and E to the team. They will handle the software development and testing.
Sounds like a great team. When do we get started?
We'll have a kickoff meeting tomorrow morning to discuss the project details and timelines.
Perfect. Is there anything else we need to prepare for the meeting?
Just make sure to review the project requirements and come up with any questions you may have.
Got it. Looking forward to it.
Great. Let's get this project rolling.
Absolutely. We'll work hard to make it a success.
That's what I like to hear. Let's meet tomorrow and get started. Hi there, I'm an information security engineer. Nice to meet you.
Hey, it's good to meet another cybersecurity professional. I'm a network security specialist.
So, what brings you here to this government agency?
I'm here to help with some security assessments and suggest ways to protect the country's sensitive information.
That's great. I'm also here to work on strengthening the security infrastructure and prevent unauthorized access.
That's important. One thing I'm looking at is potential threats from hackers outside the country.
Yes, we need to be vigilant. But don't forget the internal threats too, such as disgruntled employees.
You're right. We also need to educate everyone on best practices for secure communication and data handling.
Absolutely. And we need to make sure our software and hardware are up to date and secure against known vulnerabilities.
Agreed. And we should always be prepared for the worst-case scenario, such as a cyber attack or data breach.
True. It's a challenging task, but protecting the country's sensitive information is an essential responsibility that we can't take lightly.
Definitely. But hey, let's not forget to grab a coffee break and talk about something else for a while.
Sounds great to me. I've been dying to share my new recipe for chocolate chip cookies.
Yum. That sounds like an excellent break from talking about all these security protocols. Let's go grab a cup of joe and some cookies.
Hi there. I'm excited to start taking photos of your beautiful French cuisine.
Welcome, welcome. Glad to have you here. So, are you familiar with French cuisine?
Oh yes, I love French food. Especially escargots and coq au vin.
Ah, very traditional dishes. We'll make sure to have them ready for you. Have you tried our soufflé?
No, not yet. Is it as good as everyone raves?
Well, I may be biased, but I think it's the best soufflé in town.
Sounds like a must-try then. But let's start with the appetizers. How about some foie gras?
Of course. It's one of our signature dishes.
This presentation is beautiful. I almost don't want to eat it.
Just wait until you taste it. It's rich and velvety smooth.
You're right. And the color really pops in the photos too.
That's what we aim for, both taste and visual appeal.
I can see that. The plating is artful and elegant.
Thank you. It takes a lot of effort and attention to detail to create each dish.
Well, your hard work definitely shows. I'm excited to capture it all on camera.
And we're excited to have our cuisine showcased in your photographs. Cheers to a successful shoot.
Cheers. Let's dig in and make some magic happen. Hi B, what are you doing in the kitchen?
Mom and I are making a cake. Do you want to join us?
Sure, what kind of cake are you making?
It's a chocolate cake with vanilla frosting. It's our favorite.
Yum, that sounds delicious. Are you doing all the work or is your mom helping you?
We're working together. Mom is teaching me how to measure ingredients and mix them properly.
That's great. It's always nice to spend quality time with family.
Yeah, I'm enjoying this a lot. And we get to enjoy the cake after we're done.
Definitely, homemade desserts always taste better. Have you baked before?
A little bit, but this is the first time I'm doing it with my mom. We're having a blast.
I can tell, you both look so focused and happy. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, it's the perfect activity for a lazy weekend afternoon.
I couldn't agree more. Do you need any help with anything?
Actually, can you help us open this jar of chocolate chips? We're struggling a bit.
No problem, let me give it a try. Opens the jar, there you go. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Haha, thanks. We couldn't have done it without you.
Anytime. Now let's get back to making this cake. I can't wait to try it.
Me too. Thanks for joining us, it's been fun.
Thank you for inviting me. I love spending time with you and your mom. Hey B, have you found a house you like on the Gold Coast yet?
Yeah, I've been checking out a few places, but I don't really know much about the real estate market here.
Well, lucky for you, I happen to be a real estate agent. I can help you find the perfect house.
Oh really? That's great. I'm looking for a place close to the beach, with a great view.
Perfect. I know just the place. It's a beautiful oceanfront property with stunning views of the coast.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But I'm worried about the price.
Don't worry about the price. I'll make sure to negotiate a great deal for you.
You're a lifesaver, hey. Thank you so much.
No problem. Buying a house should be fun, not stressful.
Agreed. So, when can we go check out this place?
How about next Saturday? I'll give you a tour of the property and we can discuss any questions you may have.
Sounds perfect. I can't wait.
Me neither, B. It's going to be a great day finding you the perfect home. Hi, I'm A software engineer from the online education company.
Hi there, I'm B, an AI expert. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So, how can we use AI to personalize education content?
Well, first we need to collect data on each student's learning patterns and preferences.
Right, so we can analyze the data and create customized content for each student.
Yes, and we can also create adaptive learning systems that adjust to each student's progress.
That's really cool. How do we ensure the AI-powered content is high quality?
We can use natural language processing to analyze the content and make sure it's accurate and engaging.
Good point. How do we keep the students engaged with the content?
We can use gamification techniques like badges and rewards to motivate the students.
That's a great idea. How about using virtual and augmented reality to create immersive learning experiences?
Definitely, VR and AR can help students better understand complex concepts and retain information more effectively.
Wow, this is also fascinating. How do we make sure the AI algorithms are ethical?
We need to ensure that the algorithms are transparent and explainable, and we need to test them for potential biases.
Right, we don't want to inadvertently discriminate against any students. How can we make this technology accessible to everyone?
We can use natural language processing to create content in multiple languages and use accessible formats for students with disabilities.
That's really important. How can we make sure that teachers can incorporate this technology into their teaching?
We need to provide training and support for teachers so they can use the technology effectively and confidently.
Makes sense. How about using AI to assess students' learning progress and provide feedback?
Yes, that's definitely a possibility. We can use machine learning to analyze student performance and provide personalized feedback.
I think AI can really revolutionize education. Thanks for sharing all these great ideas.
My pleasure. It's exciting to think about the possibilities of AI-powered education.
Hey B, have you tried that new curry place on Main Street?
No, I haven't. What's so special about it?
Well, their curry is amazing. I had the chicken curry and it was out of this world.
Really? I'm always in the mood for some good curry. What made it so good?
The flavors were so well balanced and the spice level was perfect. Not too mild, not too hot.
That sounds perfect. I love a good balance of flavors in my food.
And the portion sizes are generous too. You definitely won't leave hungry.
That's always a plus. I hate when I order food and the portions are tiny.
Yeah, this place knows how to do curry right. Have you ever tried making curry at home?
I have, but it never turns out as good as the ones I get at restaurants.
I know what you mean. I've tried making curry at home too, but it never tastes the same.
Maybe we should take a cooking class together and learn how to make a killer curry.
That would be so much fun. We could have our own curry cook-off.
And invite all of our friends to judge which one is the best.
I'm down. Let's make it happen.
Definitely. But until then, let's go check out that new curry place on Main Street. I'm hungry now.
Sounds like a plan. Let's go curry crazy. Hello B, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking.
That's great. So, let's discuss our work plan for the next quarter. What do you think we should focus on?
Well, I was thinking we should work on improving our customer service. We can have our team go through some training programs to help them better communicate with our clients.
That's a great idea, B. I couldn't agree with you more. Speaking of communication, I noticed that you've been emailing me more frequently. Is everything okay?
Oh yes, everything's fine. I just wanted to keep you updated on some of the projects I've been working on.
That's perfect, B. I appreciate seeing your progress. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, A. So, about the customer service training, would you like me to start organizing that?
Yes, please. Also, I was thinking we could have some fun team-building exercises to boost team morale. Any ideas for those?
How about we all go out for lunch one day and try a new restaurant in the area? It could be a fun way for us to bond outside of work.
I love that idea. Let's plan for that next week. It's good to have a little fun while we work hard.
Agreed. Is there anything else you want me to work on, hey?
No, that's all for now. I appreciate your input on these topics, B. You're an asset to this team.
Thank you, A. It's a pleasure working with you.
Have you stayed in a hotel with a pool before?
Yeah, I have, and I always make sure to pack my swimsuit for trips just in case.
That's smart. I've never really been a pool person, but I love hotels with fancy gyms.
Oh, I'm with you on that one. I have to get my workout in even when I'm on vacation.
Do you like hotels with spas? I feel like it's the ultimate way to relax.
Oh my gosh, yes. I always book a massage or facial when I'm staying in a hotel with a spa. It's so indulgent.
What about hotel restaurants? Do you like to eat at them or explore the local food scene?
It really depends on the hotel's reputation. If the restaurant has great reviews, I'll definitely check it out. But if the food scene in the town or city is known for something specific, then I want to try that too.
That makes sense. Have you ever stayed in a hotel with a rooftop bar?
Yes. I absolutely love them. The view is usually amazing, and it's such a unique experience.
I completely agree. I also love hotels with big comfortable beds. It's the best feeling after a long day of exploring.
Yes, and I always appreciate when the pillows are nice and fluffy too.
That's definitely a must-have for hotels. Have you ever tried room service?
Of course. It's such a treat to have breakfast in bed or a late-night snack delivered straight to your room.
I'm all about that too. Have you ever stayed in a hotel with a minibar?
Yes, but honestly, I rarely use them. It's just too expensive most of the time.
I hear you on that one. Speaking of budget, have you ever stayed in a hostel?
I have. It's a super budget-friendly option, but you definitely sacrifice some privacy for the affordability.
That's true. Well, it sounds like we have a lot in common when it comes to hotel preferences. Maybe we should plan a trip together sometime.
That sounds like a great idea. Let's start looking for hotels with all our favorite amenities.
Hey, have you ever tried Anzac biscuits before?
No, I haven't. What are they?
They're these yummy cookies made with oatmeal, coconut, and golden syrup. Have a taste.
Wow, these are really good. Do you know the history behind Anzac biscuits?
Yes, I do. They were originally made by wives and mothers of Australian and New Zealand soldiers during World War I. They were sent to the front line because they lasted long without spoiling.
That's really interesting. I can see why they're called Anzac biscuits.
Yeah, they're quite popular in Australia and New Zealand.
I can see why. Do you have a recipe for them?
Yes, I do. It's actually really simple. Just combine rolled oats, desiccated coconut, flour, sugar, butter, and golden syrup. Then bake for about 15 minutes.
Thanks. I might have to give that a try.
Definitely do. They make a great snack.
I can see how these would be perfect to take on a hiking trip or a picnic.
Oh, definitely. They're also great with a cup of tea or coffee.
I'm definitely going to have to try that. Do you want to make some together sometime?
Sure. That sounds like a fun idea.
Great. Let's plan for next weekend.
Sounds like a plan. I can't wait. Hey there. Nice to finally meet you in person. I heard you're the system admin responsible for resource allocation in this big company?
Yup, that's right. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it.
I can imagine. Well, as a back-end engineer, I'm all about optimization. Have you considered using virtualization to streamline your resource allocation?
We've looked into it, but we're having trouble finding the right software to implement it.
I see. Well, I have some experience with virtualization software. I'd be happy to help you find a solution.
That would be great. We're always looking for new ways to optimize our processes here.
Sure thing. And speaking of optimization, have you considered using AI algorithms to automate some of your resource allocation tasks?
Funny you should mention that. We actually have a team working on developing an AI system for that right now.
Wow, that's impressive. I'd love to collaborate with them and see if we can integrate some of our expertise.
Sounds like a plan. And while we're at it, maybe we could also brainstorm some ways to reduce energy consumption in our data centers.
Absolutely. I have a few ideas on that front as well.
Great, let's get to work. With our combined skills and knowledge, we can make this company run like a well-oiled machine.
Agreed. And who knows, maybe we'll even have time for a game of ping pong or two between optimizations.
Haha, I like the way you think. Let's grab some paddles and get to work.
Hello, I'm A, the information security expert. Nice to meet you, B, the network engineer.
Hi, A, good to meet you too. I'm excited to work together on this project.
Absolutely. The task at hand is quite important. We need to design a secure network infrastructure to protect sensitive government information.
Right, security is always a top concern. But don't worry, I'll make sure to implement all the necessary protocols.
That's great to hear. I'll work on setting up firewalls and intrusion detection systems.
Perfect, that way we can keep hackers at bay. Do you think the budget is sufficient for this project?
I believe so. We need to consider the cost of software licenses and hardware upgrades. But we'll keep it within budget.
Good to know. How about training the employees on security awareness?
It's crucial. We can create a program that will help them understand the importance of security measures.
Excellent, and we can also run simulated phishing attacks to test their alertness.
Yes, that's a great idea. And it'll be fun to see who falls for it.
Haha, I'm sure some people will be fooled. But overall, the network will be secured with proper measures in place.
Indeed, it's always better to be safe than sorry. Let's get started on this project and make sure to deliver a secure and successful network infrastructure.
Agreed, let's do it.
Wow, what a breathtaking view. This is my first time in Tasmania, and I'm blown away.
Yes, Tasmania has some of the best wilderness scenery in Australia. It's a popular destination for hiking and climbing.
How long have you been a guide here?
I've been a guide for about 10 years now. I love taking people out here and showing them the beauty of Tasmania.
That sounds amazing. What's the most challenging hike you've ever led?
The Overland Track is definitely one of the most challenging ones I've led. It's a 65-kilometer hike through rugged terrain and can take up to a week to complete.
Wow, that sounds intense. Maybe I'll work up to that one.
There are plenty of other hikes that are just as amazing, but not as difficult.
Do you ever get scared or nervous on these hikes?
Of course, there are always risks involved with outdoor activities. But as long as everyone follows the safety guidelines and listens to the guide, we can avoid any potential dangers.
That's reassuring. I wouldn't want to fall off a cliff or get attacked by a wild animal.
Don't worry, we have lots of precautions in place. And the animals here are usually more afraid of us than we are of them.
Good to know. I've been enjoying taking in all the different wildlife too. Have you seen any Tasmanian devils on your hikes?
Yes, they're fascinating creatures. We have to be careful not to get too close, as they can be aggressive and have been known to carry diseases.
It's great to have a knowledgeable guide to show us around. Thanks for taking us on this adventure.
My pleasure. It's always great to share my love for Tasmania with others.
Hey there. How's the development progress report going?
It's moving along smoothly. We're making great headway.
Excellent. Any hiccups or obstacles so far?
Nothing too major, just some minor setbacks. But we're handling it like pros.
That's the spirit. What's been the most challenging aspect for you so far?
Honestly, it's been getting everyone on the same page. Communication is key, but it can also be a struggle.
Oh yeah, that can be a tough one. But it sounds like you're taking care of business nonetheless. Speaking of which, when's the official deadline for this project?
We're aiming to have everything wrapped up within the next couple of weeks. But you know how it goes, anything can happen in the world of tech.
Huh. Yeah, that's for sure. So, how are you feeling about the end result?
I'm feeling pretty confident that we'll hit all of our goals, actually. It's definitely coming along nicely.
Awesome. Can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Speaking of which, have you thought about any potential upgrades or features you might want to add later on?
Oh yeah, that's always on our minds. We want to make sure this product is the best it can be, so we're constantly brainstorming and tweaking.
Nice. And what about user testing? Have you guys gotten any feedback from potential users yet?
Just a little bit so far, but we're planning on doing more extensive testing once we get closer to the finish line. We really want to make sure everything is user-friendly and optimized.
Definitely. Well, I have faith that you guys will knock it out of the park. Keep up the great work.
Thanks so much. We appreciate your support. It's been a team effort for sure.
Hey, have you ever had a job interview before?
Yeah, I have. A few actually.
Any tips? I'm applying to a few places right now.
Dress professionally and make sure you research the company beforehand. Oh, and don't forget to bring extra copies of your resume.
Good to know. How about any tricky questions they might ask?
Honestly, just be honest. They can smell BS from a mile away.
That's fair. Have you ever been asked a weird question in an interview?
Yeah, once I was asked what kind of animal I would be and why. It was strange.
Haha, what did you say?
I said a dolphin because they're intelligent and social creatures.
Nice answer. Did you get the job?
Actually, yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks. So, what kind of jobs are you applying for?
Mostly marketing and advertising positions.
Oh cool, make sure to bring in some examples of any marketing campaigns you've worked on before.
Good idea.
And don't forget to show your enthusiasm for the company. Employers love to see that you're passionate.
Will do. Thanks for all the advice.
No problem, happy to help. Good luck with the interviews.
Thanks, I'll need it.
Nah, you got this.
Hey, have you heard about ISO 27001 password policy?
Yeah, I have. It's a set of standards for managing password security, right?
Exactly. And recently, my company has started implementing it.
Sounds interesting. Do you think it will make our passwords stronger?
Definitely, it requires us to change our passwords frequently and use complex combinations.
I'm sure I'll forget my password if I have to change it too often.
I understand, but it's better to be safe than sorry.
You're right. Do we need to use symbols, numbers, and uppercase letters for a strong password?
Yes, we do. And we can use password managers to help us remember our passwords.
Good idea. What about sharing passwords?
Oh no, sharing passwords is a big no-no.
Yeah, you're right. It's like giving someone a key to our house.
Exactly. And you wouldn't want someone to break into your house, right?
Of course not. What happens if we forget our password?
We'll have to answer security questions or provide alternative identification methods to reset it.
That makes sense. Is there a limit to how many times we can reset our password?
Yes, there is. We should avoid resetting our password too frequently to avoid suspicion.
Got it. So, are you ready to implement ISO 27001 password policy?
I am. It's better to be safe than sorry, as they say.
Let's do it. With stronger passwords, we can protect our company's data from security breaches.
Hey B, great to see you again. So, what brings you to the fintech company today?
Hey, good to see you too. I'm here to talk about how we can use blockchain technology to improve the payment systems.
That sounds interesting. I heard that blockchain is a secure and efficient way to store data, but how can we use it for payments?
Well, with blockchain, we can create a decentralized system that would eliminate intermediaries, reduce costs, and increase transparency. Plus, it's virtually tamper-proof.
Wow, that sounds like a game changer. As a software engineer, I'm curious to know how we can integrate blockchain into our existing payment systems.
That's a great question. We would need to create smart contracts that would automate the payment process and ensure that transactions are completed only when both parties have fulfilled their obligations.
I see. It sounds like we would need to work closely with our compliance and legal teams to make sure that we're following all the regulations.
Absolutely. But the good news is that blockchain is already being used by many companies in the fintech industry, so we can learn from their experiences.
That's true. And it's always exciting to work with new technology that could potentially transform the way we do things.
I totally agree. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be able to pay for our coffee with cryptocurrency.
Haha, you never know. But for now, let's focus on making payments faster, cheaper, and more secure.
Sounds like a plan. Let's get to work.
Hey B, have you ever tried Gimbap before?
Gimbap? No, I haven't. Is it good?
Oh, it's one of my favorite Korean foods. It's like sushi, but with different fillings and flavors.
Really? What kind of fillings do they use?
Well, you can have vegetables, meat, egg, or even seafood. It's really up to your preference.
Sounds interesting. What's the sauce like?
Usually, we dip it in soy sauce or spicy sauce. But it's good enough without the sauce too.
I see. Is it easy to make?
Yeah, it's not too complicated. You just need to prepare the ingredients and roll them in seaweed and rice.
That's cool. Maybe I'll have to give it a try sometime.
Definitely. Once you try gimbap, you'll be hooked.
So, where's the best place to get it around here?
There's a Korean restaurant down the street that makes really good gimbap. We should go there for lunch sometime.
Okay, sounds like a plan. Thanks for introducing me to this awesome food.
No problem. I'm always happy to share my love for gimbap. Hey B, have you heard the latest buzz about designing a gamified learning application?
Yes, I have. It's an exciting idea that can certainly make learning more fun and engaging.
I agree. As a mobile app developer, I think designing a gamified learning app would be challenging yet fulfilling.
Definitely. As a game designer, my goal is to make learning feel like play. We need to make it interesting and interactive for the users.
Right, we should come up with a concept that incorporates game elements into educational activities.
The user interface should reflect the theme of the game, making it easy to navigate and providing a pleasant experience.
Absolutely, and each level should have its own unique challenges that gradually increase in difficulty.
We should also include a reward system to motivate users to complete tasks and progress through the levels.
Yes, rewards could be in the form of congratulatory messages or badges, and we can track progress so that users can see how far they have come.
And to promote friendly competition, we could add leaderboards so that learners can see how well they're doing compared to others.
Sounds great. We should also provide opportunities for users to socialize, interact, and learn from one another.
Indeed, we can add a chat feature to allow learners to communicate with one another and share learning tips.
This is shaping up to be a great project. A gamified learning app designed with a user-focused approach can help people learn and have fun at the same time.
I couldn't agree more. We should start brainstorming and work on making it a reality soon.
Good morning, B. How are you doing today?
Good morning, A. I'm doing well, thanks. Excited to be here at the bank to discuss some data integration with you.
Yes, definitely. As the database administrator for this bank, I think it's important we centralize our data and make it easily accessible to better understand our customers' needs.
Absolutely, and as a data engineer, I think I can help with the technical aspects of integrating our data sources.
Great, I'm glad to hear that. Have you had any experience with integrating banking data before?
Yes, actually. I've worked with a few banks to integrate their data and provide them with insights to better serve their customers.
That's perfect. We have a few different data sources, such as customer transactions and call center logs. Do you have any suggestions on how we can integrate them?
Firstly, we need to ensure we have a standard format for the data. We can then use tools like Apache Spark to integrate the data and build models to better predict customer needs.
That's a great idea. Do you think we need to consider bringing in any external data sources, or should we just focus on internal data?
It depends on the bank's goals. External data, such as weather data or social media data, could give us more insights into customer behaviors. But for now, let's focus on integrating internal data first.
Sounds like a plan. What do you think about using machine learning techniques to analyze this data?
Absolutely, machine learning could be very useful here. It can help us better understand customer preferences and provide more personalized recommendations.
That sounds great. It looks like we have a solid plan in place. Thanks for your expertise, B.
No problem, A. This was a great discussion. I look forward to working on this project with you.
Same here, B. Let's keep in touch and continue to bounce ideas off each other.
Definitely, we are a great team.
Yes, we are. Have a great day, B.
You too, A.
Good morning, how are you feeling today?
I'm not feeling great, doctor. I have a terrible headache and my throat is sore.
I'm sorry to hear that. Let's take a look. It seems like you have a cold. Nothing to worry about. Have you been taking any medication for it?
No, not yet.
All right, then let me prescribe you some medication that will make you feel better. And if it gets worse, make sure to come back and see me.
Thank you, doctor. Do you have any advice for me?
Yes, make sure to drink lots of fluids and rest as much as you can. And don't forget to wear a mask to avoid spreading the germs.
I will, thank you. Do you have any funny or interesting stories to help me cheer up?
Actually, I do have a funny story. Did you hear about the guy who invented lifesavers?
No, I haven't. What's the story?
Well, he created them as a candy for people who smoke so they could have something to suck on instead of a cigarette. But the funny thing is that he never smoked himself.
Haha. That's hilarious. Thanks for sharing, Doctor. You always know how to make me feel better.
No problem, happy to help. And remember, laughter is the best medicine. Hey B, have you thought about how we can use machine learning to improve our credit evaluation process?
Absolutely. I have been thinking about it for a few weeks now. I think we can leverage machine learning to reduce our loan approval process from days to minutes.
That sounds great. How do you plan to do that?
Well, we can use data from various sources like social media, credit scores, and transaction data to build models that can accurately predict the credit quality of a borrower.
Interesting. But how will we ensure that the data being used is reliable and accurate?
That's a good question. We need to make sure that there is proper data cleaning and normalization process in place so that only relevant data with high quality is fed into the model.
Makes sense. But how do we go about building these models?
We can use algorithms like decision trees, regression, or neural networks to train the model using the historical data. Once the model is trained, we can deploy it in our loan approval process.
That sounds like a solid plan. But what about model interpretability and explainability?
We can use techniques like SHAP values and partial dependence plots to understand the impact of various factors on a borrower's creditworthiness.
Interesting. But how do we ensure that the model is fair and doesn't discriminate against any particular group?
We need to be careful while selecting features and variables for the model to ensure that we don't include any biases that might lead to discrimination.
Right. And what about the model's performance? How do we measure it?
We can use metrics like accuracy, precision, recall, and F1 scores to measure the performance of the model.
Okay. And how do we ensure the model's robustness and stability?
We need to use techniques like cross-validation and ensemble models to ensure that the model is not overfitting and is robust to changes in the data.
That sounds like a lot of work. But if we can pull this off, it will surely revolutionize our credit evaluation process.
Yes, definitely. We just need to be careful and thorough in our approach and make sure that we take all the necessary steps to build a reliable and accurate model.
Agreed. Let's get to work then. Hi there, I'm A software engineer for our fintech company. Nice to meet you, B.
Hi A, I'm B, a blockchain developer. Glad to meet you too.
So B, I hear you're an expert in blockchain technology. How do you think we can improve our payment system using it?
Well, A, blockchain can bring in transparency and security in payment transactions. We can eliminate the middlemen and speed up the payment process.
Sounds interesting. But how can we make sure the transactions are secure?
We can use consensus algorithms like proof of work or proof of stake to validate transactions on the network. And no tampering can be done without the consensus of the network participants.
That makes sense. But what about scalability? Can it handle high transaction volumes?
Yes, we can employ sharding or off-chain protocols to handle large volumes of transactions.
Awesome. What about integration with our existing payment system?
We can build APIs to connect the blockchain network with our payment gateway. In this way, we can handle both fiat and digital currencies using the same system.
Impressive. And how about privacy? Can we ensure that sensitive information is kept private?
Yes, we can use zero-knowledge proof or ring signature to ensure privacy on the blockchain.
Great, that's a relief. But is our team ready for this technology?
We can start with a small pilot project and gradually scale up. Our teams can also be trained to work on this new technology.
Good point. How long do you think it will take to implement this?
It depends on the complexity of the project, but I would estimate around 6 months to a year.
All right, let's get started then. This sounds very promising.
Yes, let's do it. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, A.
Same here, thank you for your insights, B. Good morning, I am a food inspector here to check the quality of the products in this supermarket.
Good morning, welcome to our store. I'm the store manager. We take food safety very seriously, so please let me know if you need anything.
Great, thank you. I see that your team has properly labeled all the products with an expiration date. That's a good start.
Yes, we always ensure that our customers get safe and fresh products. Is there anything else that needs attention?
Well, it seems that a few items are not stored properly. I recommend that you refrigerate certain foods to prevent spoilage.
Thanks for letting me know. We'll make sure to double-check our storage arrangements.
Also, I've noticed that some packaged products have missing labels.
Oh no, I apologize for that. We'll fix it right away. Do you have any other suggestions for us?
I just want to remind you to check the cleanliness of the preparation area and other parts of the store.
Absolutely. We'll remind our team to maintain high standards of sanitation.
Overall, I must say that I'm impressed with the quality of the products in your store. You're on the right track to keeping your customers safe and happy.
Thank you so much for your feedback. It was great having you here today.
Hey B, nice to see you again. Ready to get to work?
Absolutely, let's dive in. How can I help you with the orders?
We've been getting so many orders, it's hard to keep track of them all. Do you have any ideas about how to handle the influx?
Well, we can sort them by date, location, or even customer name. But we need to make sure we have a solid database structure to handle the load.
That's a good point. Do you think we should use SQL or NoSQL for this kind of data?
It depends on the complexity of the data and how structured it is. If it's relatively simple, SQL should suffice. But if it's more unstructured, NoSQL might be a better option.
Got it. Do you have any experience with any specific frameworks for handling orders?
Yes, I've used Django and Ruby on Rails before. They both have great libraries for managing and displaying orders.
Interesting. Have you dealt with any security issues in the past when it comes to handling customer data?
Absolutely, security is always a top concern. We'll need to make sure we're using encryption and hashing techniques to protect sensitive information.
That makes sense. How about backups? Do you have a plan for backing up the data in case of a system failure?
Definitely. We should have regular automated backups to make sure we can restore the data quickly in case of any issues.
That's a relief. Do you have any suggestions for making the order data easily accessible for other departments like sales or customer service?
We can set up an API to allow other departments to access the data. This way, they won't have to go through us every time they need information.
Great suggestion. Do you have any recommendations for hosting the database?
It depends on how much data we're dealing with and how many users need to access it. We could use cloud hosting like AWS or on-premise hosting if we have a dedicated team to maintain it.
Thanks for all these suggestions, B. You're a real pro at this stuff.
No problem, always happy to help. Let's get started on building this database and handling all these orders.
Hey there. Welcome to the Statue of Liberty. Are you here to take some pictures?
Yes, I am. I'm excited. It's been one of my top destinations for a while.
That's great. It's one of the most iconic landmarks in the world. Let me take you to a spot where you can get a perfect shot.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So, have you been to any other tourist attractions in New York?
Yes, I have been to the Empire State Building and the Brooklyn Bridge. Then, I headed to Central Park.
Sounds like you're having a great trip. You know, the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France in the 1880s.
Really? I had no idea. That's interesting.
Yes, it's a symbol of friendship between France and the US. It has been a beacon of hope for many people who came to America looking for a better life.
That's so inspiring. I'm grateful for the opportunity to see it up close.
Would you like to know a fun fact? The statue's face was modeled on the sculptor's mother.
Really? That's so cool. She must have been so proud.
Of course. Let's take your picture in front of the statue with the beautiful New York skyline in the background.
Thank you so much. I'll remember this moment for the rest of my life.
My pleasure. Hope you have a wonderful time in New York, and please come back soon. Hey B, have you heard about the famous rock climber A who is currently challenging a cliff in the Alps?
No, I haven't. What's happening up there?
A and a group of tourists are attempting to summit one of the most difficult cliffs in the area.
Wow, that sounds intense. How's it doing?
Apparently, A is leading the group flawlessly. A has a lot of experience in climbing difficult cliffs like this one.
That's amazing. What kind of training does it need to tackle something like this?
Lots of cardio and strength training, but also mental preparation. Climbing at this level requires a lot of focus and determination.
I can imagine. I don't think I have what it takes to do something like that.
Don't be so hard on yourself, B. Climbing is all about pushing yourself to overcome challenges.
Maybe I'll stick to easier climbs for now.
That's okay. Climbing is all about finding what's enjoyable for you.
Yeah, I guess I just need to find my own level of challenge.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe one day you'll feel ready to tackle a mountain like A.
Maybe. But for now, I think I'll stick to watching a climb and be amazed.
Good morning, B. Ready to start another day of serving classic French coffee and crusty bread here in the heart of Strasbourg?
Good morning, A. I sure am. The aroma of our freshly baked bread and brewed coffee is already filling up the entire street.
That's great to hear. Speaking of which, could I have a latte and a warm croissant to kickstart my day?
Sure thing, A. Coming right up. How about you tell me, which do you think is more important for a perfect breakfast, the coffee or the bread?
That's a tricky question. Personally, I think it's a bit of both. A strong cup of coffee can wake me up, but having a flaky croissant to start the day with is pure bliss.
I agree, A. You know what they say, good coffee without good bread is like a kiss without a hug.
Laughs, I've never heard that one before, B. You always have a witty way with words. By the way, have you tried our new cherry and almond tart? It's a perfect accompaniment to our coffee and bread.
Yes, I have. It's a delightful treat, the tangy cherries complement the nutty almond flavor perfectly. I think it'll be a sure hit with our customers.
That's great to hear, B. Speaking of customers, have you noticed that we're attracting quite a diverse crowd these days? From tourists to locals, everyone seems to enjoy our French goodness.
Absolutely, A. That's the beauty of our food, it transcends borders and cultures. A sip of our coffee and a bite of our bread can take one on a journey to the streets of Paris.
Smiling, I couldn't have said it better myself, B. It's always a pleasure working with you and sharing our passion for French cuisine with the world.
Likewise, A. Our coffee and bread may be classic French, but our teamwork is a modern wonder. Let's keep on serving our customers with the best we can offer.
Definitely. Let's make the most out of today. Good afternoon, B. Welcome to our vineyard in Cape Town. Are you ready to taste some delicious wines?
Good afternoon, A. Absolutely. I'm excited to explore your vineyard and taste the best wines your winery has to offer.
That's great to hear. What kind of wine do you prefer? Red, white, or rose?
I enjoy all kinds of wine, but today I would like to start with a white wine, perhaps a Chenin Blanc.
Excellent choice. Our Chenin Blanc is one of our best sellers. Can you describe the texture and aroma?
The texture is smooth, and the aroma is fruity with notes of green apple and pear. It has a refreshing acidity and a long finish.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. How about our Cabernet Sauvignon?
It's fantastic. The tannins are well structured, and the flavor is complex with hints of blackcurrant, vanilla, and spices. I would rate it as an outstanding wine.
Thank you for your praise, B. Lastly, what do you think of our rose?
This rose is delightful. It has a light body with a crisp acidity that blends well with its fruity and floral notes. It's perfect for a light summer day.
I'm happy you found our wine enjoyable, B. Please feel free to take a look at our shop to bring some of your favorites home.
Thank you, A. Your vineyard is lovely, and I can't wait to come back and taste more of your wines.
Have you ever tried miso soup?
Of course. It's one of my favorite soups.
Really? I've never tried it before.
You're missing out. It's a traditional Japanese soup with fermented soybean paste.
That sounds interesting. What does it taste like?
It has a savory and slightly salty flavor, but it's also very comforting.
That sounds like the perfect soup for a rainy day.
Definitely. And it's also great for when you're feeling under the weather.
I should give it a try then. Do you have any recommendations for where I can get some?
You can find it at most Japanese restaurants, but it's also easy to make at home.
Really? I might have to try making it myself.
Definitely give it a shot. It's not too difficult to make, and it's very satisfying to eat your own homemade soup.
Thank you for the recommendation. I'm excited to try it.
No problem. Let me know how it goes. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
Good morning, B. Ready for another day of filming?
Morning, A. Of course, I'm always ready to be in front of the camera.
Haha, that's the spirit. So, how did you find yesterday's shoot?
It was great, but you know what would be even better? If we could shoot in Hawaii next time.
Now you're speaking my language. But we'll have to wait until this pandemic situation gets better.
Oh, right. Speaking of the pandemic, did you know that they're now using robots to enforce social distancing in some countries?
Really? Well, I'm glad we don't have to deal with any robotic enforcers here at the studio.
Me too. Can you imagine shooting a scene with a robot interrupting us?
And imagine the outtakes we'd get. Hey, have you heard that there's now a vegan steak that bleeds like a real one?
That's insane. Why would anyone want to eat that?
It's all about the experience, I guess. But let's focus on filming for now. You ready for your close-up?
Born ready, hey. Let's do this.
Hey, have you heard any feedback from our users lately?
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on it. Some users have suggested adding more features.
More features? We just added a bunch of them last month.
I know, but we can always improve. Besides, we want to make our users happy, right?
Of course, but we also have to consider if these features are feasible and if they align with our goals.
Fair point. So maybe we can see which features are most requested and prioritize those.
That's a good idea. We can create a survey and send it out to our users.
And also, maybe we can ask for suggestions on how to improve our current features.
Yes, good call. It's always helpful to get feedback directly from the users.
Definitely. Plus, it shows that we value their opinion and we're open to making changes.
Absolutely. So, let's work on that survey and start gathering some feedback.
Sounds like a plan. And hopefully, with these changes, we can continue to make our users happy and satisfied with our product.
Agreed. Thanks for your input on this. It's always helpful to bounce ideas off of someone.
No problem, happy to help.
Good evening, Chef B. Our restaurant has been receiving rave reviews for your seafood dishes. Thank you for your hard work.
Thank you, Manager A. I pride myself on using only the freshest seafood for our menu.
That's great to hear. Speaking of which, have you ever worked with blue crabs before? We have a special request from a customer tonight.
Of course, I've worked with blue crabs plenty of times. What does the customer want?
They've requested our blue crab cakes, but they want it served with a side of spicy aioli. Can you make that happen?
Absolutely, I'll add some extra kick to the aioli to really complement the flavors of the crab cakes.
Sounds delicious. And have you tried the chow frya river prawns we got in this morning?
Yes, I used them in our spicy seafood stir-fry dish for the lunch rush. Customers couldn't get enough of it.
That's fantastic to hear. It's really great working with such a talented chef like yourself.
The feeling is mutual, Manager A. And look at the view we have of the river. It's the perfect backdrop for our seafood cuisine.
I couldn't agree more. That's why we always make sure to provide a seat by the window for those looking to enjoy the river view.
It definitely adds to the dining experience. And speaking of customers, did you see the family of 4 that just walked in? They seem excited to try the seafood platter.
Yes, I noticed them too. Let's make sure everything is perfect for them tonight. Our seafood platter is one of our most popular dishes.
No problem, Manager A. I'll make sure everything is cooked to perfection.
That's what I like to hear. Thank you, Chef B, for all your hard work. Our customers appreciate it, and so do I.
You're welcome, Manager A. It's always a pleasure working with you. Together, we make sure our customers have an unforgettable dining experience.
Hi there. What brings you to the library on this beautiful day?
Hello. I have an English assignment due next week, so I'm trying to get a head start.
That's great. What book are you reading?
It's called To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Have you read it before?
Yes, I have. It's a classic that's been around for ages. Are you enjoying it so far?
Definitely. I love Scout's character and her curiosity about the world around her. What about you? What are you working on?
I'm actually reading a mystery novel. It's called The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. It's a page-turner, that's for sure.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I might give it a try.
You should. It's gripping from beginning to end. By the way, have you seen the art exhibit on the 3rd floor? It's really fascinating.
No, I haven't. What's it about?
It's a collection of abstract paintings by up-and-coming artists. I checked it out earlier and it's really impressive.
Sounds interesting. I'll make sure to check it out before I leave.
That's a good idea. This library is full of treasures, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's amazing how many different things you can do here, from reading books to attending workshops.
That's right. Did you know they also have language exchange programs here? You can practice speaking with someone who's learning your native language.
No way. That's so cool. I might sign up for that. Thanks for letting me know.
My pleasure. It's always good to learn new things and meet new people.
Definitely. Well, I should get back to my reading. Thanks for chatting with me.
Anytime. Good luck with your assignment. Hey there. Welcome to the art exhibition. Are you enjoying the paintings so far?
Hi. Yeah, definitely. It's amazing how diverse all the artists are. Who's your favorite artist here?
Well, I'm particularly fond of this one artist, let me show you. His name is A and his artwork is just stunning.
Wow, this is amazing. I love how this piece really draws you in. What is the meaning behind it?
That's the beauty of it, everyone perceives it differently. Some say it's about the beauty of nature, while others interpret it as a metaphor for life itself.
It's really interesting. I'm more of an art enthusiast than an artist.
That's great to hear. What type of art do you usually gravitate towards?
I love a good abstract piece. There's something about how everyone can see something different in it. How about you?
I'm more of a realist. But hey, that's what makes art so unique. It speaks to different people in different ways.
Absolutely. Have you ever met this artist, A, in person?
Yes, actually. I was lucky enough to attend his exhibition last year. He was incredibly humble and passionate about his work.
That's so cool. Maybe one day I'll have the chance to meet him too.
You never know, he might even be here today. Want me to ask around?
Really? That would be amazing. I would love to meet him.
All right, let's go ask the staff. Who knows, maybe you'll walk away with a signed artwork.
Haha, don't give me such high hopes. But seriously, thank you for guiding me through this exhibition. I've learned so much.
No problem at all. I always love sharing my passion for art with others. Hey B, did you hear about ISO 27001 encryption key?
Yeah, I did. It's a standard for information security, right?
Yes, that's right. It sets guidelines for keeping data secure and confidential.
Interesting. I'm not very knowledgeable on this topic. Could you explain it more?
Sure. So, ISO 27001 requires companies to establish and implement a security framework to protect data from threats.
Ah, I see. That sounds like an important step for companies to take.
Absolutely. And one crucial part of the framework is encryption keys. They're like digital locks that secure data.
Oh, I've heard of encryption before. But what makes the keys so important?
Encryption keys help prevent unauthorized access to confidential data. Without them, sensitive information is left vulnerable.
Wow, that's really interesting. But how do companies know which encryption key to use?
Great question. The standard specifies what key length to use based on the level of security needed.
Got it. So what length should a company use for the highest level of security?
The maximum key length is 256 bits. It's virtually impossible to break with today's computing technology.
Impressive. So what happens if a company fails to meet the ISO 27001 standards?
Well, they risk data breaches and other security incidents. Plus, they may face legal consequences.
Yikes. I can see why it's important for companies to take this seriously.
Absolutely. It's not just about protecting data, but also maintaining customer trust and loyalty.
That's true. Well, thanks for explaining this to me. I learned a lot.
No problem. It's always fun to geek out about cybersecurity. Hey there. Do you have any idle belongings that you want to sell?
Let me think. I might have a few items lying around.
Great. What kind of things do you have?
Well, I have a guitar that I never really learned to play. And a set of golf clubs that have seen better days.
Interesting. How much do you want for the guitar?
I was thinking of selling it for around $200. It's almost brand new, barely been used.
That sounds like a fair price. And what about the golf clubs?
I'll let them go for $100. Like I said, they're not in the best condition, but they still work.
All right, I'll take the guitar off your hands. And maybe I'll think about the golf clubs too.
Sounds good to me. Let me know if you change your mind. Oh, and do you want a case for the guitar?
Yes, please. Can you throw that in for an extra $20?
Deal. Do you want to take a look at some other stuff I have for sale?
Sure, why not? What else do you have?
Well, I have some old books, a record player, and a bike.
The record player sounds cool. How much?
I'll sell it to you for $50. It needs a bit of fixing up, but it's a classic.
All right, I'll take it. And maybe I'll check out those books too.
Sounds good. I have some classics like Hemingway and Joyce if you're interested.
Definitely. Let's take a look. Do you have any other hobbies besides golf and playing guitar?
Actually, I'm into photography. I have a vintage camera that I might sell too.
Really? I'm also into photography. Can I see it?
Sure thing. It's a Yashica T4, and I'm selling it for steel at $100.
Wow, that's a great price. I'll have to think about it.
Take your time. And if you want, I can give you some tips on how to take great photos with it.
That would be awesome. I definitely need some help with my photography skills.
No problem. We can go out shooting together sometime.
That would be amazing. Thanks for all your help.
Anytime. It's always great to meet fellow enthusiasts. Hello there, my name is Bob and I'm a sales representative for this brewery. What brings you in today?
Hey, Bob. I'm Alex, a brewmaster here. I'm just checking on the progress of our latest batch of beer.
That's great to hear, Alex. We have a shipment going out next week and I have some new marketing materials that I was hoping to share with you.
Sure, I'd love to take a look. But first, what do you think of the new recipe?
Honestly, I think it's fantastic. The infusion of orange peel really adds a nice citrus flavor to the overall taste of the beer.
That's exactly what we were hoping for. Our goal is to create a unique beer that stands out in the market.
And I think you've definitely done that. Speaking of uniqueness, did you know that there is a beer spot in the Czech Republic where you can bathe in hops and beer?
Wow. That's quite interesting. Maybe we should start thinking of new ideas to incorporate our beer into such experiences.
That's a great idea, Alex. We should definitely brainstorm that further. But for now, let's get down to business and review these marketing materials.
Of course, I'm excited to see what you've got for us.
We've got everything from new social media campaigns to festivals and events that we can participate in.
Sounds great, Bob. Let's get to work and make sure our new batch of beer is a hit in the market.
Agreed, Alex. Let's raise a glass and cheers to our success.
Hey B, how's the fish grilling going?
It's going great, but I can't help but feel a little envious of your sizzling beef over there.
Come on over and try some of this Wagyu, it might just change your mind.
All right, you win. Wow, this is absolutely delicious. Maybe I should start getting into the meat grilling game.
You definitely should, the juicy flavors of meat just can't be beaten.
But I gotta say, there's something irresistible about the smell of grilled fish, the way it dances with the salty air.
That's true. But have you ever tried pairing your grilled fish with some of our fresh vegetables? It adds a whole new dimension of flavor to your dish.
Maybe that's what's been missing. You always have such great ideas,
That's why I'm the grill master. Speaking of which, I think it's time to flip some of these beef cuts over.
Ah, and I can see the golden brown of my fish fillets calling my name. Let's get grilling.
It's a beautiful day for grilling in Osaka, isn't it?
Absolutely. The only trouble is trying to resist the temptation of taking a bite out of every dish we make.
That's the struggle we face every day, my friend.
But hey, no complaints here. We're doing what we love and bringing joy to each and every customer that walks through these doors.
That's right, and that's what makes it all worth it in the end. Okay, let's finish up these grilling tasks and get ready to serve some delicious Japanese cuisine.
Sounds like a plan, let's do it.
Hey B, have you been to any museums lately?
Yeah, I went to the MoMA last weekend. How about you?
I actually visited the Louvre a few months ago. It was amazing.
That's cool. Speaking of museums, we need to discuss how to improve the user experience of a cultural website.
Right. I was thinking we could focus on making the website more visually appealing.
Definitely. But we also need to think about improving the navigation and search functionality.
That's a good point. How about adding a filter option for different types of events and exhibits?
Yes, and also integrating a map feature to easily locate different museums and galleries.
Great idea. And maybe we could include some interactive elements, like quizzes or puzzles related to the exhibits.
Love it. And adding a live chat function for users to ask questions would really enhance their experience.
Agreed. And we can also improve the mobile responsiveness of the site, so users can easily access it on their smartphones.
Yes, and ensuring that the website is accessible for users with different abilities is important too.
You're right. We want everyone to be able to enjoy and engage with our cultural website.
Exactly. I think with our combined efforts, we can make this site really stand out and provide a great user experience for all visitors.
Absolutely. This was a fruitful discussion, B. I'm excited to start working on this project together.
Me too, A. Let's create something amazing.
Good morning, sir. Welcome to our farm. Are you here for some fruit picking?
Good morning. Yes, I am. I've never done it before, so I'm excited to try it out.
Well, you're in for a treat. We have an abundance of fruits here, from apples to peaches and everything in between.
That sounds amazing. Which ones are ready to be picked right now?
Let's see, the apples and pears are ripe and ready to be picked. We also have a section for the stone fruits like peaches, nectarines, and plums.
Great. I think I'll start with the apples. Do I just climb up the ladder and pick them from the tree?
Yes, that's right. Be careful not to shake the tree too hard or the good ones will fall and get bruised.
Got it. This is hard work. I have a newfound respect for farmers.
Haha, yes, it can be tough work. But it's worth it when you get to bite into a juicy, ripe fruit.
Definitely. Do you have any tips for picking the best fruits?
Look for the ones that are firm and free from blemishes or soft spots. And make sure the color is uniform all around.
Thanks for the tips. I'll keep that in mind. Can I try some of the fruits right now?
Of course. We have a tasting area set up for that. And while you're at it, try some of our homemade apple cider too.
This is delicious. Is it made from the apples we picked?
Yes, it is. We have our own cider press and we make fresh batches every day.
I'm definitely buying some to take home with me. Thank you so much for the wonderful experience.
You're welcome. We're happy to share our farm with visitors like you. Hi there. I'm the data scientist in charge of this project. Nice to meet you.
Hi, likewise. I'm the machine learning engineer working on this project. Great to work with you.
So, what do you think is the best way to approach improving the efficiency and accuracy of insurance claims using machine learning technology?
Well, we could start by analyzing past data to identify patterns and predict future claims.
That's a good idea. We could also use natural language processing to understand and categorize claims from different sources.
Exactly. And then we could train a machine learning model to make automated decisions based on that data.
Yes, and we can use multiple algorithms such as random forest, XGBoost, and neural network to get the best results.
Sounds good. We also need to make sure that the data we're using is accurate and up to date.
Agreed. We can use machine learning to help us detect and correct any errors or inconsistencies in the data.
That's a great idea. And we should also periodically retrain our models to ensure that they stay up to date with any changes in the data.
Yes, keeping our models up to date is crucial. And with the help of machine learning, we can improve the overall efficiency of our insurance claims process.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe one day we'll even be able to fully automate the entire process.
Huh. It's always good to have big dreams. Let's start by taking small steps to improve our system first.
Sounds like a plan. I'm excited to get started on this project with you.
Hey B, have you heard about the new project we're working on?
Not yet. What's it about?
We're designing a system for a big insurance company to handle a lot of user data.
Sounds like a lot of work. What's our plan?
Well, as a web engineer, my focus is on designing the interface and optimizing the system for fast data processing. What about you as a database administrator?
I'll work on managing all the data and ensuring its security. We need to make sure that it's easy to query and update.
That's right. We should also collaborate with the IT team to make sure everything works smoothly.
Definitely. And we need to test the system for scalability so it can handle more data as the company grows.
Speaking of testing, we should also make sure it's user-friendly. We don't want the customer service team calling us every day with questions.
Good point. Let's make it intuitive and easy to understand. Maybe we can even add some fun animations to keep people engaged.
I like your thinking. We want the users to enjoy using the system, not dread it.
Exactly. And let's not forget about accessibility. We need to make sure everyone, including those with disabilities, can use the system.
Yes, accessibility and inclusivity are important. Let's make sure to test it with different accessibility tools and get feedback from a diverse group of users.
Sounds like we have a lot to do, but I'm excited to get started. Let's create a system that's both functional and fun.
Agreed. This project is going to be a challenge, but with our skills and teamwork, we can knock it out of the park. Good afternoon. What can I get for you today?
Hi there. I'm not sure what I want yet. Can you give me some recommendations?
Of course. Our specialty is the chocolate lava cake. It's to die for.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. I'll have one of those with a cappuccino, please.
Great choice. And can I interest you in trying one of our macarons for dessert as well?
Why not? Let's go with a raspberry one.
Perfect. It won't take long to prepare, so please make yourself comfortable.
Thank you. This place is lovely. Do you always work in the kitchen?
Yes, I'm actually the pastry chef here. It's a lot of work, but I love it.
I can imagine. I'm impressed with how everything looks in the display case.
Thank you. We take pride in presentation as well as taste.
Speaking of taste, have you ever made any unusual desserts?
Oh, definitely. We've experimented with flavors like lavender and Earl Grey tea.
Interesting. I think I would try those. Do you have any tips for making a good dessert?
My advice would be to use high-quality ingredients and to not be afraid of trying new things.
That makes sense. Well, my lava cake is here and it looks incredible.
I hope you enjoy it. And don't forget about the macaron.
I won't, thanks. This was a great experience. I'll definitely be back soon.
Hey B, have you heard about the software engineer and IoT architect who teamed up to achieve end-to-end logistics monitoring in a smart logistics company?
Yeah, I heard they wanted to use IoT technology to track every step of the logistics process from start to finish.
That's right. They plan to use sensors and RFID tags to monitor the product's temperature, humidity, and location during transportation.
That's quite an ambitious plan. I bet they faced some challenges while implementing it.
Of course, they did. One of the biggest challenges is to ensure that the IoT devices and systems are secured and protected from hacking and cyber attacks.
That's a valid concern. They must have employed several security measures to keep the system safe.
Yes, they did. They used encryption, access controls, and firewalls to secure their system.
Awesome. I also heard they used AI and machine learning algorithms to analyze the data collected by these devices to optimize the logistics process further.
You're spot on. With AI and machine learning, they could detect patterns, forecast demands and potential disruptions, and make adjustments in real time.
That's impressive. By utilizing IoT and AI, they could improve the efficiency and accuracy of the logistics process significantly.
Yes, exactly. And they also improved customer satisfaction by providing real-time tracking data, which enhances their experience.
Wow, I'm amazed by how IoT and AI could revolutionize the logistics industry. Thanks for sharing this interesting conversation with me, A.
You're welcome, B. It's always exciting to learn about how technology could transform the world we live in. Hi there. I'm a travel consultant and I've got a group of tourists who need to rent cars to explore Melbourne. Can you help me pick the right cars for them?
Absolutely. What kind of group is it?
It's a family of 4 and a group of friends consisting of 5 people.
Okay, we have a variety of options available for you. We could recommend a couple of SUVs or minivans for the family and maybe 2 smaller vehicles for the group of friends.
Sounds great. Do you have any recommendations on scenic routes around Melbourne?
Definitely. One of the most popular routes is the Great Ocean Road, which is a beautiful coastal drive with breathtaking views. Another option would be to drive to Phillip Island to see the penguins.
Wow, those sound amazing. On a lighter note, do you have any hidden gems in Melbourne that tourists might not know about?
Well, there's a little-known bar called Section 8 that's made out of shipping containers. It's a cool spot to grab a drink and socialize. Another fun thing to do is explore the famous laneways of Melbourne, which are packed with street art and quirky shops.
Those are great suggestions. I'll definitely pass those on to my clients. Thanks for your help.
No problem at all. Let me know if you need anything else, and enjoy exploring Melbourne.
Hey B, have you heard about ISO 27001 social engineering?
No, I haven't. What is it about?
It's a set of guidelines for managing and preventing social engineering attacks.
Social engineering? Is that like a fancy term for manipulation?
Yeah, it's when someone gains access to confidential information by tricking people into revealing it.
Ah, got it. So how do these guidelines work?
They outline strategies for detecting and preventing social engineering attacks, such as increasing employee awareness and implementing stricter access controls.
Sounds useful. But do you think everyone at our company would take it seriously?
Maybe not everyone, but it's important to educate them on the risks and consequences of social engineering attacks.
True. So have you seen any success with this approach?
Yeah, I've heard of companies reducing their risk of social engineering attacks by up to 50%.
Wow, that's impressive. Maybe we should suggest this to our boss.
Definitely. It's better to be safe than sorry, right?
Agreed. Thanks for bringing this to my attention, A.
No problem, B. Always happy to share information that helps keep us secure. Hi there. How can I help you today?
Hi. I've been craving some delicious deep dish pizza. What do you recommend?
Our specialty here is the Chicago-style deep dish pizza. It's a classic and a must-try for any pizza lover.
That sounds perfect. I'll take one of those to start.
Excellent choice. Would you like any toppings on that?
Yes, please. Can I get some pepperoni and mushrooms?
Absolutely. And would you like anything to drink with that?
A cold beer would be great.
We have a range of local beers on tap. Can I suggest our Chicago-style IPA?
Sounds good. Bring it on. Wow, this is amazing. The crust is perfectly crispy and the toppings are so flavorful.
I'm happy to hear that. Our deep dish pizzas are made fresh to order using only the best ingredients.
It definitely shows. So, tell me, what do locals usually order here?
Well, the deep dish pizzas are definitely the most popular, but we also have some great appetizers like garlic knots and mozzarella sticks.
You're making me hungry again. I think I'll have to come back here.
We'd love to have you back. Is there anything else I can get for you?
Just a check, please. And thanks for the great recommendation.
No problem at all. It was my pleasure serving you. Have a great day. Hey B, how's it going? I wanted to talk to you about ways we can improve the quality of our software products.
Hey, doing well, thanks for asking. Improving software quality is always a hot topic. What ideas do you have?
Well, I think first we need to focus on thorough testing. We shouldn't just rely on automated tests, we should have human testers who can verify that everything is functioning properly.
That's a good point. We could also implement code reviews as well. This would ensure that we catch errors before they even make it to testing.
Yes, I completely agree. Another idea I had was to implement a bug tracking system. This would allow us to easily keep track of all reported bugs and ensure that they get resolved.
That would definitely help with organization and communication. How about documentation? Having clear and concise documentation is also important in improving quality.
Absolutely. We should make sure that our documentation is updated regularly and is easily accessible to all team members.
You know what else would help? Conducting user surveys and getting feedback. This way we can address any issues that users may be experiencing and improve their overall experience with our products.
That's a fantastic idea. We should also consider investing in better tools and resources to help with software development and testing, which will ultimately help in improving quality.
Yes, and we shouldn't forget about training and development opportunities. By investing in our team's skills, we can ensure that we are producing high-quality software products.
Great points, B. I think if we implement these ideas and continue to focus on quality, we'll see a significant improvement in our software products.
Agreed, hey. Let's put these ideas into action and make it happen.
Hey, have you heard about ISO 27001 privacy?
Oh, you mean that standard for information security?
Yep, that's the one. It's becoming more important nowadays to protect sensitive information.
Agreed. It's better to be safe than sorry. But isn't it a bit complicated?
Well, it does have its complexities, but it's not rocket science. And besides, the benefits of implementing it outweigh the effort involved.
I see your point. But do we really need to follow it to the letter?
Not necessarily. We can tailor it to our organization's needs. But we need to make sure we cover all the necessary aspects to ensure compliance.
Got it. It's like baking a cake, we need to follow the recipe, but we can add our own touch to make it unique.
Exactly. And ISO 27001 privacy is like the main ingredient to make that cake extra tasty and secure.
I like that analogy. So, what are some of the benefits again?
Well, it helps us adhere to legal and regulatory requirements, builds trust with customers and stakeholders, and reduces the risk of data breaches.
Sounds like a win-win situation. We should definitely consider it.
Absolutely. ISO 27001 privacy is the cherry on top of our security measures.
You're quite the chef with your analogies. But I agree, ISO 27001 privacy is a must-have ingredient in our recipe for success.
Hey B, how are your climbing skills? Are you feeling up for this adventure?
Honestly, I'm nervous but excited. I've never done something like this before.
Don't worry, mate. I've climbed these cliffs 100 times. I'll make sure you're safe.
Thanks, I appreciate it. So, what should I expect on this climb?
Well, we'll start by ascending the lower rock face, then traverse across a narrow ridge to reach the main summit.
That sounds intense. How long does it typically take?
It depends on your pace, but probably around 5 or 6 hours.
All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Hold on, before we start, let's make sure you're fully equipped. Here, put on these climbing shoes and harness.
Wow, this gear is legit. I feel like a pro already.
And one more thing, don't look down.
Laughs, too late, I already did. This view is incredible though. Thanks for bringing me here,
No problem, B. That's what friends are for. Plus, I'm always up for a good adventure.
Speaking of adventures, where's the craziest place you've ever climbed?
I'd have to say Kilimanjaro. That summit was intense, but the sunrise views made it all worth it.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm just glad we're not facing any snow and ice on this climb.
Agreed. These warm temperatures and sea views make for a unique experience. Okay, let's keep moving. We've got a summit to reach. Hey B, have you seen the latest game stats for our team?
Yeah, I did. It was a tough loss against our rivals.
Do you think there's a way we can use data analysis to improve our team's performance?
Definitely. There's a wealth of data we can use to identify patterns and improve our strategy.
What type of data should we be looking at?
Well, we can start by analyzing our players' field goal percentages, their number of rebounds, and their assists for each game.
That sounds like a good start. Is there anything else we should look at?
We can also study our team's performance in different types of games, whether home or away, against weaker or stronger teams.
Interesting. I didn't think about that. How about our opponent's data? Can we use that to improve our game plan?
Absolutely. By studying the opponent's strengths and weaknesses, we can come up with a more strategic plan for each game.
Makes sense. But there's a lot of data to sift through. How can we manage it all?
That's where data visualization tools come in handy. We can create charts and graphs to better understand the data and present it in a more visual way.
That's great. So, what's our next step now that we know what to do with the data?
We can create a plan of action and present it to our coaches and team owners. We can show them the benefits of using data analysis to improve our team's performance.
I like it. Our team will be unstoppable with the power of data on our side.
You got it. Let's get started on creating that data analysis plan.
Good morning, class. How's everyone doing today?
Good morning, Teacher A. I'm doing well, thank you.
That's great to hear. So, today we'll be learning about idioms. Can anyone tell me what an idiom is?
Is that like a saying or phrase that doesn't necessarily mean what the words say?
Yes, exactly. Can you give me an example, B?
The ball is in your court?
Very good. Now, let me see if you can guess what this idiom means. It's raining cats and dogs.
I think that means it's raining really hard.
Yes, you're right. Now, let's try another one, break a leg.
I know this one. It means good luck.
Yes, it does. You're a natural at this.
Thank you, Teacher A.
All right, let's see if we can come up with some of our own idioms. How about fish out of water?
That could mean someone who feels uncomfortable in a new situation.
Exactly. That's a great one. How about spill the beans?
Oh, that's when you accidentally reveal a secret.
You're on a roll, B. Keep them coming.
Okay, how about chip on your shoulder?
That means someone who is always looking for a fight or argument.
Wow, this is really fun. I'm learning a lot.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, B. Keep up the good work. Hey B, have you noticed that our website has been experiencing some performance issues lately?
Yes, I have. It seems like the traffic has increased and our current server is unable to handle the load.
Yeah, we definitely need to implement a more efficient load balancing solution.
Agreed. I was thinking we could use a round-robin algorithm to distribute the traffic evenly across multiple back-end servers.
That's definitely an option. But what if one server goes down?
Good point. We could use a health check to monitor each server and redirect traffic to the remaining healthy servers.
Perfect. And in terms of hardware, we could use dedicated balancing hardware or virtual machines.
Virtual machines would be a more cost-effective solution, but we need to make sure they have enough resources and don't slow down performance.
Absolutely. We should also consider implementing caching and compression techniques to reduce the load on our backend servers.
Yes, and we could even use a content delivery network to distribute content to regional servers closer to the user, further reducing latency.
Great ideas. We also need to make sure our load balancers can handle SSL traffic.
Yes, we can use SSL offloading to decrypt the traffic before it reaches the backend servers.
And we should also consider using a web application firewall to protect against attacks.
Good call. And we could even implement geolocation-based routing to direct traffic to the server closest to the user's location.
Wow, our website is going to be lightning fast and so efficient.
Yes, we'll be able to handle any amount of traffic and keep our customers happy.
Awesome. Let's get started on implementing these solutions right away.
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Welcome to our restaurant. Are you dining alone today?
Hi there. Yes, just me. I'm eager to try some of your New Orleans-style dishes.
Excellent choice. Our jambalaya and gumbo are very popular. Would you like a menu?
Actually, I've already studied the menu online. I'd like to start with some crawfish cakes and a hurricane cocktail.
Excellent choices. The crawfish cakes are made with fresh Louisiana crawfish, and our hurricane cocktail is one of our specialties. I'll place your order right away.
Thank you. While I wait, could you tell me a little about the history of this restaurant?
Sure, we've been serving up classic Creole dishes for over 50 years. Our founder, Pierre, began as a dishwasher and worked his way up to head chef.
Wow, that's impressive. I'm excited to try some of his dishes. Is there a particular item that's a must-try?
Absolutely, you have to try our seafood gumbo. It's a recipe that's been passed down through generations of our family, and it's one of our most requested dishes.
Well, then that's what I'll have for my main course. I'll also have a side of red beans and rice.
Great choices. Our gumbo is filled with succulent shrimp, scallops, andouille sausage, and fresh okra. And our red beans and rice is a traditional southern dish made with smoked pork and spicy sausage.
You're making me hungry just describing them. And for dessert, I think I'll have the beignet.
Wonderful choice. Our beignets are made fresh, to order, and dusted with plenty of powdered sugar.
This is going to be an amazing meal. Thank you for your recommendations and great service.
My pleasure. I hope you enjoy every bite. Let me know if you need anything else. Hi there. I'm a software engineer, and you must be the database manager, B.
Yes, that's right. It's nice to meet you, A. I understand we're both working on optimizing our medical database structure.
That's right. I've been working on a new algorithm to help organize and classify our data more efficiently.
That sounds interesting. What kind of data are you working with?
Mostly patient information, medical histories, and treatment plans.
Ah, okay. Well, I've been working on optimizing the data architecture to improve data retrieval and reduce redundancy.
That's great. We definitely need to keep both speed and accuracy in mind when dealing with patient information.
Absolutely. We could also consider implementing some machine learning algorithms to help with data analysis and predictive modeling.
That's a great idea. We could use predictive modeling to identify risk factors and prevent potential health issues.
Yes, and we could also improve personalization of treatment plans based on patient history.
Wow, that would be amazing. It's incredible how much technology is transforming the healthcare industry.
Yes, it's exciting to think about how our work can contribute to improving patient outcomes.
Definitely. And hey, if we keep optimizing and streamlining our data, we might even have time for a game of ping pong during our lunch break.
Haha, sounds like a plan. Let's make sure we optimize our work so we can enjoy a little friendly competition later.
Hey B, have you heard about the new software engineer we just hired?
Yeah, I heard. That's great news for our company. But wait, why are you bringing this up?
I think he has some great ideas for optimizing the smartphone interface. You know, making things quicker and more user-friendly.
Oh, cool. As a human interaction designer, I'm all ears. What did he suggest?
Well, he suggested a voice command function that could navigate through menus and open apps.
Interesting. And what did you think about that?
I think it's a great idea, but only if the phone can distinguish commands from different voices.
Absolutely. That would be a huge step up from the current voice command function that replies only to one voice.
Agree. The software engineer also proposed a feature that can analyze users' commands and habits to predict what they want to do next.
Wow, that sounds like something straight out from a sci-fi film. But you know what? I'm willing to give it a try.
Me too. I'm eager to see how it can help users with their daily tasks and make their lives easier.
Definitely. All right, let's go talk to the engineer and see if we can work out some ideas together.
Sounds like a plan, B. And hey, who knows, maybe we can even come up with some ideas to optimize our job too.
Haha, you always have a way to make our job exciting, hey. Let's get to work.
Have you ever tried haggis?
Haggis? What's that?
It's a traditional Scottish dish made from sheep's heart, liver, and lungs. It's quite a delicacy, you know.
I don't know if I'm ready for that. It sounds intense.
Oh come on, don't be a chicken. You should try it at least once.
All right, I'll give it a shot. But you have to promise me that it's not as bad as it sounds.
Trust me, it's delicious. Just make sure you have a glass of whiskey to wash it down.
Whiskey with haggis? That's a new combination.
It's a classic pairing. The smoky flavor of the whiskey complements the richness of the haggis perfectly.
Okay, you've convinced me. But where can we find some haggis around here?
There's a Scottish restaurant I know of that serves it. We can go there for dinner tonight.
Sounds like a plan. I'm excited to try something new.
Great. Just remember, if you don't like it, we can always order some fish and chips instead.
Haha, thanks for the backup plan. But I have a feeling I'm going to love this haggis.
I have a feeling you will too. Just don't think about what it's made of, and enjoy the flavors. Hey, B. How's your day going so far?
It's going pretty well, thanks. Just keeping busy with all the security checkups we have to do for our clients.
Yeah, I hear you. It's been pretty hectic lately, especially with all the new types of attacks we've been seeing.
Definitely. Have you seen the latest phishing scams? They're getting more and more convincing every day.
Yeah, it's crazy. And don't even get me started on those ransomware attacks.
Ugh, don't remind me. But you know what's even scarier? Those zero-day vulnerabilities that hackers are exploiting before we even have a chance to discover them.
Yeah, I know. It feels like we're always playing catch-up. But hey, at least we're never bored, right?
Haha, true that. Gotta love the thrill of the chase when we're trying to track down those elusive bugs.
And you have to admit, there's a certain satisfaction in knowing that we're making the internet a little bit safer every day.
Absolutely. It's all about staying vigilant and keeping one step ahead of the bad guys.
Speaking of which, have you heard about that new training program on cybersecurity awareness that our boss just announced?
No way. That's awesome news. It's about time we got some more support to help educate users on how to stay safe online.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I'd better get back to analyzing this code. Catch you later, B.
Take care, hey. And don't forget to step away from the computer every now and then, okay? We don't want you getting burnt out.
Hey there, what brings you to the bank today?
Oh, I've been tasked with finding ways to better understand our customers' needs through data. As a data engineer, do you have any suggestions?
Absolutely. The first step is to collect all the customer data we have and integrate it into a centralized database.
Right, we should start with the basics like customer demographics and transaction history. From there, we can add more complex data like social media engagement and web browsing behavior.
That's a great approach. Once we have all the data in one place, we can use data visualization tools to help us make sense of it all.
Yes, we can create charts and graphs that show customer spending patterns, popular products and services, and more.
And we can use machine learning algorithms to help us identify which customers are most likely to leave the bank or switch to a competitor.
That's a brilliant idea. We can use these insights to create targeted marketing campaigns and improve customer retention.
Exactly. And if we're really ambitious, we could even use data to automate and personalize our customer service chatbot.
Wow, with all this data and analysis, we could truly transform the customer experience at this bank.
Absolutely. It's exciting to think about all the possibilities. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, we need to make sure we have a solid data privacy and security policy in place.
That's a great point. We need to make sure we're following all the necessary regulations and keeping our customers' information safe and secure.
Agreed. It's a big responsibility, but if we do it right, we could truly make a difference for our customers and our business.
Yes, indeed. I can't wait to get started on this project.
Good morning, B. Thank you for coming in today.
Good morning, A. It's my pleasure.
So, I understand you're interested in developing a new ad campaign for your product. Can you tell me a bit about it?
Sure. It's a line of pet products, specifically for cats.
Ah, great. Cats are becoming very popular these days.
Yes, they are. And our products are top of the line. We only use the highest quality ingredients. We want our ad campaign to reflect that.
Absolutely. Have you thought about any specific themes or ideas?
Well, we were thinking about using cute cats in our ads. Everyone loves cute cats, right?
That's true. I think we could definitely work with that. Maybe we could even add some humor into the mix?
Sounds good to me. Humor always catches people's attention.
Exactly. And we could also focus on the health benefits of your products, too. Maybe we could show how they contribute to a cat's overall well-being?
Yes, that's a great idea. We really want to emphasize how high quality our products are.
Absolutely. I think we have a lot of great ideas already. Let's keep brainstorming.
I'm excited to see what we can come up with. Thanks for your help, A.
Of course, B. It's all part of the job. Let's make this ad campaign a huge success. Good morning, B. What seems to be the problem today?
Hi, doctor. I've been having a terrible headache for the last few days.
I see. Have you taken any medication for the headache?
Yes, I did. But it didn't relieve the pain.
I think we can do a few tests to identify the root cause of your headache.
Sure, I hope it's nothing serious.
Don't worry, B. It's highly likely that it can be treated with some rest and prescribed medication.
That's a relief to hear, Dr. A.
Do you try practicing mindfulness, B? It can help relax your mind and reduce stress levels.
I haven't tried it yet, but I'll definitely give it a try.
Great, let me give you a few resources to get started. And while you're at it, try indulging in some comfort foods too.
Yum. That sounds great, doctor. Thank you.
Alright, B. Let's get started with the tests. And try to get some rest in the meantime.
Thank you, Dr. A. I appreciate your help.
Welcome to the Sydney Opera House, everyone. I'm your tour guide for today. My name is Alice. Before we start, do you have any questions?
Yes, Alice. How long has the Opera House been open to the public?
The Opera House has been open since 1973. It took 14 years to build and cost around $102 million AUD.
Wow, that's really interesting. What is the most popular show that has ever been performed here?
I'd say that the most popular show would have to be The Phantom of the Opera. It's an all-time classic and has been performed over 1,900 times at the Opera House.
That's amazing. How many people can the Sydney Opera House seat?
The Opera House has 5 main performance venues with a total capacity of around 5,700 people. And the smallest venue can seat up to 400 people.
That's really impressive. What about the design of the building? Can you tell us more about it?
Of course. The Opera House was designed by Danish architect Jørn Utzon. The building's design is meant to look like a ship sailing on the water, or even a set of sails. It's definitely a unique piece of architecture.
That's so cool. I'm excited to see the inside of the Opera House. Can we start with the tour now?
Absolutely. Let's start with the concert hall, where you can see one of the largest organs in the world. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask me anytime during the tour.
Thanks, Alice. This is going to be an unforgettable experience.
Glad to hear it. Let's go and enjoy the wonders of the Sydney Opera House together. Hi B, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing well, thanks. I wanted to talk to you about how we can use machine learning to improve our company's search engine efficiency.
That's a great topic. What ideas do you have in mind so far?
Well, one thing we could do is use natural language processing to better understand user queries and provide more accurate results.
Yes, that's definitely something we should explore. We could also use machine learning algorithms to rank results based on user behavior and click-through rates.
Exactly, that way we can provide more relevant information and increase overall user satisfaction with our search engine.
Another idea could be to implement image recognition capabilities to help with visual search queries.
Yes, I was thinking about that as well. It would definitely be a game changer for our search engine's capabilities.
Absolutely. And we could use predictive analytics to anticipate what users may be searching for based on their past behavior and provide relevant suggestions.
That's a great idea too. With all these potential solutions, I think we can really improve the search engine's efficiency and user experience.
Agreed. Let's start exploring these ideas further and see how we can implement them.
Sounds good, and maybe we can even think of some fun names for the new features we'll be implementing.
Haha, yes. Let's get creative with it.
Hi there. Are you here to check out the competition?
Yes, I am. It's always good to know what's out there.
Absolutely. I'm a marketer, so I'm always keeping an eye on the market trends. Have you noticed anything interesting lately?
Well, I've seen a lot of plant-based products popping up. It seems like more and more people are looking for alternative protein sources.
Yes, I've noticed that too. It's a growing trend. Have you also noticed the rise in popularity of gluten-free and low-carb products?
Yes, definitely. People are more health conscious these days and are paying attention to the ingredients in the food they eat.
That's true. I also think people are becoming more environmentally conscious, hence the trend towards eco-friendly packaging and sustainable farming methods.
Absolutely. We need to be mindful of our impact on the environment. Have you seen any innovative products that have caught your eye?
Yes, I recently came across a company that makes snack bars from cricket protein. It's an interesting concept, and the bars taste great too.
Wow, that's definitely different. I'll have to keep an eye out for them. Anything else you've seen that's caught your attention?
Yes, there's a company that makes sparkling water infused with CBD oil. It's a unique product that's gaining popularity in the health and wellness market.
Interesting. It seems like the possibilities are endless when it comes to innovation in food and beverage products.
Definitely. It's an exciting time to be in the industry. Thanks for chatting with me about market trends.
Likewise, it's always interesting to exchange ideas with other professionals in the field.
Good morning and welcome to Sydney, Mr. B. I hope your flight was comfortable.
Thanks, hey. It was a long flight, but I managed to catch up on some rest.
Wonderful. So, we have a busy schedule ahead of us. Let's get started with your first meeting.
Sure. What's the address?
The meeting is at the CBD Central Business District, and we have arranged a private car to transport you.
Great, thank you for taking care of everything.
No problem at all. Have you had breakfast yet?
Not yet. I'm thinking of something light. Any recommendations?
There's a cafe nearby that serves excellent coffee and pastries. Would you like to grab a bite there?
Sounds perfect. Let's go.
All right, let's make it quick and head to the car.
Do you have any sightseeing recommendations for later tonight?
Yes, the Sydney Opera House is a must-see attraction. There's a show tonight. Would you like me to book tickets for you?
That sounds fantastic. Please do.
Will do. And for dinner, there's a great seafood restaurant near the harbor that I highly recommend.
I'm not a big fan of seafood. Do they serve any other types of cuisine?
Of course, they also have great steak and chicken dishes.
Perfect. Let's make a reservation there.
Noted. Is there anything else you need help with?
How about transportation to the airport?
We will arrange a car to pick you up from the hotel and take you to the airport on time for your flight.
Thank you, A. You've been very helpful.
It's my pleasure to assist you, Mr. B. Have a great day ahead.
You too, A. See you later.
Bye. Hi there. Welcome to the Darwin Visitor Center. How can I assist you today?
Hi, I'm a little lost navigating this city. I'm not sure where to go or what to do.
No problem. That's what we're here for. What kind of activities are you interested in during your stay?
Well, I heard Kakadu National Park is a must-visit, but I'm not sure how to get there.
Yes, Kakadu is a great choice. We have tours leaving from the center daily. You can also rent a car to drive there yourself.
Awesome, thanks for letting me know. Are there any other popular destinations nearby?
Absolutely. Litchfield National Park and Catherine Gorge are both stunning natural attractions that you won't want to miss.
That sounds amazing. I'm also interested in trying some local food.
You're in luck. Darwin has a great food scene, especially for seafood. Have you ever tried barramundi?
No, I haven't. Is it good?
It's delicious. Our local fish and chip shops serve it up fresh and crispy.
My mouth is watering already. Any other dishes I should try?
Definitely give crocodile and kangaroo a try if you're feeling adventurous. And make sure to try some damper, a traditional Australian bread.
I'm definitely feeling adventurous. Thanks for all the recommendations. Any final advice for navigating the city?
Just be aware of the weather, it can get extremely hot and humid during the wet season. And don't forget to slather on some sunscreen.
Thanks so much for your help. I'm feeling much more confident about exploring Darwin now.
My pleasure. Have a great time and let us know if you need any further assistance. Hi there. How's your stay at our hotel, B?
It's been great so far. The facilities are amazing and the staff is very helpful.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm A, the marketing manager here. Is there anything you need help with?
Actually, I was just thinking about expanding my business and I want to increase my online presence. Do you have any suggestions?
Of course. We offer a variety of digital marketing services that can help you reach your target audience. Have you heard of SEO and SEM?
Yes, but I'm not sure how to get started with it. Can you explain it in simpler terms?
Sure, SEO is about optimizing your website to rank higher on search engines like Google. SEM is about using paid advertising to promote your website on search engines. We can help with both strategies.
That sounds great. Can you give me a rough estimate of how much it would cost?
It depends on the scope of the project and your specific needs. But don't worry, we can work within your budget.
Okay, I'm definitely interested in learning more about this. How soon can we get started?
We can begin as soon as you're ready. We'll just need to schedule a consultation to discuss your goals and preferences.
Sounds good to me. I'm excited to see what we can accomplish with your marketing services.
Wonderful. Let's exchange contact information and set up a time to meet for a more detailed discussion. Hi, B. I heard that we're designing a new social media platform. Do you have any ideas on how we could make it more user-friendly and engaging?
Hey, A. Yes, I think we should focus on intuitive design and personalization. People love customizing things to their taste, so we could incorporate that into the platform.
Great idea. How about we also add some interesting features that would make our platform stand out from the rest?
Definitely. What do you have in mind?
We could create a virtual theme park where users could visit and play games with their friends. It's like having an amusement park, but in the comfort of their own homes.
Sounds like a fun idea. We could also create a feature where users can create and share their own memes. People love to share funny memes, so we could make them a key component of our platform.
Yes, that's a great suggestion. We should also make sure that our platform is compatible with different devices and browsers, so that more people can use it.
Agreed. And let's not forget to prioritize privacy and security concerns. That's a big factor for many users.
Good thinking, B. We should also have a user-friendly interface where it's easy to navigate and understand how to use our platform.
Absolutely. And lastly, we should make sure that our platform is constantly updated and improved over time, so that users always have new and exciting features to look forward to.
That's a great point, B. I'm glad we're on the same page. Let's get to work and create the ultimate social media platform. Hey B, how's it going?
Not bad, just swamped with managing all this employee data.
Yeah, I know the feeling. But at least with our data management system, it's a lot easier, right?
Definitely, I couldn't imagine using spreadsheets for all this.
Ugh, spreadsheets are the worst. So how have you been filtering all this data?
Well, I've been using a combination of SQL queries and Python scripts to optimize the process.
Nice, sounds like you're using your tech skills to the max.
You bet, gotta stay on top of things. What about you?
I've been working on implementing some new features to automate data input, and it's been a game changer.
Sweet, we could definitely use more automation to reduce errors.
For sure, gotta make our jobs as efficient as possible.
Speaking of which, have you seen that new dashboard we added for HR?
Yeah, it's pretty slick. Makes it a lot easier for managers to access their team's data.
That was the goal. We want to make it as user-friendly as possible.
Well, it definitely is. Say, do you have any new tips for improving data accuracy?
Yeah, I just started using regex to validate inputs. It's a game changer.
Regex, huh? I'll have to look into that.
Definitely, it saved me a ton of time catching typos and errors.
Man, it's amazing how much technology has changed our jobs.
Yeah, it really is. But at least it's made our lives a lot easier.
Hey B, have you heard of ISO 27001 third party before?
Nope. What is it about?
It's a standard that deals with information security management for third-party vendors.
Oh, I see. So how does it work?
Basically, an organization needs to make sure that its third-party vendors comply with the information security standards specified in the ISO 27001 third-party standard.
Sounds like a lot of paperwork.
Haha, yeah. But it's crucial for ensuring the integrity and confidentiality of sensitive information.
I guess that makes sense. So how do companies ensure compliance?
Well, they usually conduct audits and assessments of their third-party vendors to map their compliance with the standard.
That sounds like a lot of work too.
It is, but it's worth the effort to mitigate any risks that could arise from third-party vendors.
Yeah, for sure. Do you know of any specific examples where it has been useful?
Actually, a lot of companies have adopted this standard, including big names like Microsoft and Amazon.
Wow, that's impressive. Looks like it's definitely something to look into for any organization.
Absolutely. Information security is more important than ever, and this standard helps ensure that third-party vendors don't compromise it.
Thanks for sharing, A. I'll definitely read up more on it.
No problem, B. Let me know if you have any other questions. Hey there, B. Have you thought about our gaming website project?
Definitely. But I'm a little worried about how we can make it more engaging for our users.
Absolutely. We should take a look at some other successful gaming sites to get some inspiration.
Agreed. But what about incorporating 3D animation for a more immersive experience?
That sounds interesting. But we need to make sure it doesn't overload the web page, and the load times aren't delayed.
Right. We could also add sound effects to enhance the gaming experience.
Yes, I love that idea. We should create a library of sound effects that correspond with different actions in the game.
Exactly. Speaking of the game, what do you think should be the focus of the gameplay?
I'm thinking we should have a tap-based gameplay, where users can tap on the screen to perform certain actions.
Cool. And we could also add levels to the game, where users can unlock new abilities and power-ups as they progress.
Nice. Another important aspect to consider is the design aesthetic of the website.
Totally. We should aim for sleek and modern design that's visually appealing to our users.
Definitely. We also need to ensure that the website is optimized for mobile accessibility.
Yes, we don't want to lose out on mobile users who may be playing on their tablets or smartphones.
Agreed. We should also implement social media integration so that users can share their experience with their friends.
And we should definitely include community forums for users to interact with one another and share tips and strategies.
Great idea. This would foster a sense of community and increase user engagement.
Exactly. With all these features combined, we can create a truly immersive and engaging gaming website that users would be excited to come back to.
Absolutely. Let's get to work and make it happen. Good morning, B. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, thanks for asking. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thank you. So, I wanted to go over your training plan for the week.
Sounds good. What do you want me to work on?
First, let's focus on building strength with some weight training. We'll start with some squats and lunges.
Okay, I can handle that. What's next?
After that, we'll move on to some cardio. We can do some sprints on the track and then finish off with some jump rope.
That's intense. But I'm up for the challenge.
Great attitude, B. You're doing really well, so we can maybe increase the weight for your next session.
I'm excited for it. I want to be able to perform better in my next competition.
That's the spirit, B. Keep up the hard work and dedication, and you'll definitely see progress.
Thanks for the encouragement, Coach.
Hi, B. How's it going with our research on the ancient culture and history?
Hey, A. It's been interesting so far. We've unearthed some pretty amazing artifacts that date back centuries.
That's fantastic. What's the most intriguing artifact you've found so far?
I have to say, it's this ancient coin that seems to depict a mythological creature. It's surprisingly well preserved for its age.
Really? That's amazing. What's the story behind the creature?
Well, the creature is believed to symbolize wisdom and strength in this particular culture. It's fascinating how ancient civilizations put so much meaning into their artwork.
Absolutely. It just goes to show how important art and culture are in shaping a society's identity.
Definitely. It's also interesting to see how different cultures interacted and influenced each other in the past.
Yes, and it's amazing how certain traditions and practices have been passed down through generations.
Speaking of traditions, have you ever tried the local cuisine in this area?
Yes, I have. The flavors are so unique and distinct. I particularly enjoyed the spiced lamb dish we had last night.
Ah yes, that's a classic dish in this region. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks for taking me along for this research trip, B. It's been a great learning experience so far.
No problem, A. It's always great to work with a fellow researcher who shares the same passion for ancient culture and history.
Good afternoon, sir. Please take a seat. Can I get your name?
Good afternoon, officer. My name is Mike.
Mike, can you tell me what happened on Main Street today?
I'm sorry, officer, I can't remember.
Can you explain why there was a broken window at the store you were seen leaving?
Oh, that. I accidentally bumped into it and it broke.
Accidentally? Is there a reason why you were leaving the store after it was closed?
I was just trying to catch my bus home. I didn't realize it was closed.
Okay, I understand. Do you have any identification on you?
Yes, here it is.
Thank you. This says your name is actually Stephen. Why did you give me a false name earlier?
I was scared, officer. I didn't know what was going on.
I see. Well, it looks like you have a history of similar incidents. Can you explain why that is?
I've had some bad luck lately and I couldn't afford to buy what I needed.
It's a tough situation, but there are better ways to handle it than breaking the law. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, officer. I'm sorry for what I did.
Apology accepted. Let's try to work together to find a better solution for your situation moving forward. Morning, B. I was looking at the test results from yesterday, and I think we need to improve our testing process.
Hi, A. Yes, I agree. What do you suggest?
I think we could benefit from more automated testing. It would save time and ensure consistency in our tests.
That's a great idea. Have you looked into any specific tools for automated testing?
Yes, I've researched a few options. I think the one that suits our needs the best is Selenium.
Perfect. Let's get started on implementing that. And while we're on the topic of improving our process, what do you think about incorporating a bug bounty program?
Wow, that's an interesting proposal, B. Could you explain it a bit more?
Sure. Basically, we would give rewards to anyone who discovers and reports vulnerabilities in our software. It could incentivize people to report bugs and ultimately benefit our company's security.
I see. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it's a popular practice in the tech industry. Let's look into setting one up.
Definitely. And on a different note, have you heard about the new coffee machine in the break room?
Laughs, yes, I have. I think I've had 3 cups already this morning.
Laughs, well, I think we could use some caffeine to power through this morning's meeting.
Agreed. Let's grab some before we head in.
Good morning, sir. I'm Officer A. Can you please state your name and what you were doing last night?
My name is Tom. And, last night I was just, hanging out with some friends.
Okay, Tom. We received a report of noise disturbance from your area last night. Did you hear or see anything unusual?
No, officer, everything was quiet. We were just playing some music and having a good time.
I see. Well, we have reports of vandalism in the area last night. Do you have any knowledge or involvement in this?
No, officer, I don't know anything about that.
All right then. Can you please turn out your pockets for me?
Sure thing, officer. Emptying out pockets.
Is this yours? Holds up a spray paint can.
Size, yeah, okay. I did spray paint some graffiti on the wall last night.
I thought so. Tom, you know that's illegal, right? You're going to have to pay for the damages.
Yes, officer, I understand.
All right, Tom, I'm going to have to take you into custody now. But first, can I ask what made you want to spray paint on the wall?
Smiling sheepishly, just some harmless fun, officer. I didn't mean any harm.
Well, Tom, I hope you learned your lesson this time. Vandalism is a serious crime, and I'm sure your parents would want you to make better choices.
Yes, officer, I understand.
Hey, have you ever tried escabeche?
Escabeche? No, I've never heard of it. Is it spicy?
Not really, it's actually a type of Filipino sweet and sour fish dish. Have you had any Filipino cuisine before?
Not yet, but it sounds interesting. How is it cooked?
The fish is fried first, then soaked in sweet and sour sauce made of vinegar and sugar. You can also add carrots, onions, and bell peppers for more flavor.
That sounds so good. Can we go to a Filipino restaurant and try it out?
Yes, let's do it. I know of a Filipino restaurant downtown that serves escabeche.
Awesome. I can't wait to try something new. Do you recommend any other Filipino dishes to try?
Yes, lumpia is also a must-try. It's like spring rolls, but with a savory pork filling. And of course, adobo is a classic Filipino dish made with chicken or pork and a mixture of vinegar, soy sauce, and garlic.
Oh wow, I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Let's plan a Filipino food night soon.
Sounds like a plan. Filipino cuisine has so much to offer, I can't wait to introduce you to all of it.
Thanks for enlightening me about escabeche and Filipino cuisine. Your enthusiasm is infectious.
Of course. I love sharing my love for food with others. Hey, have you heard about open source software?
Yeah, it's software that's developed by communities of people and is freely available, right?
Exactly. And the best part is, anyone can contribute to it.
That sounds awesome. What kind of software is typically developed as open source?
There's a lot, but one example is the Firefox web browser.
Oh, I use Firefox all the time.
See? It's a great example of open source software.
But how do people actually make money from developing it?
Well, some open source projects have a donation system or sell merchandise, but others offer paid support or customization services.
Ah, I see. So it's not impossible to earn a living from open source development.
Definitely not. In fact, many companies use open source software in their own products and services.
Makes sense. I guess it's more cost-effective than hiring a team to develop proprietary software from scratch.
That's one of the main benefits of open source. It saves both time and money.
Plus, it encourages collaboration and innovation among developers.
Exactly. It's all about building a community and working together towards a common goal.
Well, count me in. I think I might start contributing to some open source projects.
That's great to hear. Let me know if you need any help getting started.
Will do. Thanks for the interesting chat about open source software.
Anytime. It's always good to spread the word about this awesome community-driven movement. Good morning. Are you ready to board the plane?
Yes, I am. I'm excited to finally go on vacation.
Great to hear that. Can I see your boarding pass and passport?
Sure, here they are.
Thank you. It looks like you're seated near the window.
Yes, I always prefer the window seat so I can enjoy the clouds and the view.
That's a lovely choice. Have you been to Sydney before?
No, it's my first time. I've heard a lot of good things about this city.
Oh, you're in for a treat. There are so many things to see and do here.
I can't wait to explore. What are some of your favorite spots in Sydney?
Well, I love the Bondi Beach and the Sydney Opera House. They're both so iconic.
I'll definitely put those on my list. Do you have any recommendations for local cuisine?
You have to try some traditional Australian meat pies and fish and chips. They're delicious.
I'll make sure to try them. Thanks for the tip.
No problem. We'll be boarding soon. Enjoy your flight and have a great time in Sydney.
Thank you. I'm sure it will be a memorable trip.
Good morning. How can I assist you today?
Hi there. I am looking for some creative ideas to advertise my new restaurant.
Great to hear. Can you tell me a little bit about your restaurant?
Sure. It specializes in healthy and organic food, and we also have a rooftop patio with a stunning view.
That sounds amazing. We can definitely come up with some interesting ads for you. Have you thought about social media marketing?
Yes, we have a Facebook and Instagram page, but we need more followers and engagement.
How about hosting a healthy eating challenge competition on your social media platforms? We can offer discounts or free meals for those who complete the challenge.
I love that idea. What about other advertising options?
We could create a billboard with a catchy phrase like healthy food, happy life, or come for the food, stay for the view.
That's perfect. How soon can we start?
We can start working on the social media campaign right away, and the billboard can be ready in about 2 weeks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the great ideas.
It's our pleasure. We are always happy to help our clients. Hi there, I'm a local fisherman. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm B, an engineer from an ocean energy company. It's great to meet you too.
So, what brings you to our humble fishing port today?
Well, our company is planning to build an ocean energy project nearby, and we wanted to discuss how it might impact the fishing industry here.
Ah, I see. Well, we definitely don't want any negative effects on our livelihoods as fishermen.
Definitely not. That's why we're committed to finding solutions to mitigate any potential impacts.
That's really good to hear. Can you tell me how you plan to do that?
Sure. We're exploring technologies like subsea-powered cables that wouldn't interfere with fishing activities and working with local communities to identify any areas of concern.
Well, that sounds promising. As long as you're willing to work with us and listen to our concerns, we can definitely find a way to coexist.
Absolutely. We want to be good neighbors and contribute positively to the local economy.
That's music to my ears. Can I ask you a personal question?
Of course.
As an engineer, have you ever tried your hand at fishing?
Laughs, I have to admit, I haven't. But maybe you can show me the ropes sometime.
You got it. I'll teach you how to catch the big one.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for being so welcoming and open-minded.
No problem. We all need to work together to protect the ocean and the jobs it provides.
Absolutely. I look forward to partnering with you for the good of the community.
Hey B, have you ever thought about how we can utilize natural language processing to enhance the overall customer service experience on our platform?
Absolutely, A. I think by leveraging NLP technology, we can automate a lot of the mundane tasks that customer service reps currently handle.
That sounds great. Can you give me an example of how this would work in practice?
Sure. We can use NLP algorithms to understand the intent behind customer queries and route them to the appropriate department.
Interesting. So you're saying we can increase the efficiency of our customer service reps without sacrificing quality?
Exactly. By reducing the time reps spend on low-value tasks, we can free them up to handle more complex customer issues.
I see your point. What about chatbots? Do you think we should consider incorporating them into our customer service strategy?
Absolutely, A. Chatbots can handle a lot of the more straightforward queries, freeing up our reps to focus on more complex issues.
That makes sense. But are chatbots advanced enough yet to handle more complicated queries?
They're getting there, A. With advancements in machine learning and natural language processing, chatbots are becoming increasingly sophisticated.
I see. One thing that concerns me is the potential for chatbots to frustrate customers. How can we ensure a positive customer experience when using chatbots?
Good question. One way to achieve this is by having chatbots recognize when a query requires human intervention and transferring the customer to a live rep.
Brilliant. I like the idea of using chatbots as an initial point of contact with customers, and then using human reps when necessary.
And we can also use NLP to analyze customer feedback and improve the overall chatbot experience.
Absolutely. By using NLP to analyze customer feedback, we can identify patterns and quickly make improvements to the chatbot.
Exactly. And by constantly monitoring the chatbot's performance, we can ensure a positive customer experience.
I like the sound of that. So what are the next steps?
We need to set up a test environment to start experimenting with different chatbot features and algorithms. From there, we can fine-tune the chatbot until it's ready for launch.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks for your help, B.
Anytime, A. Let's work together to create an even better customer service experience.
Hey, B, how's it going? I heard you're the natural language processing expert here at the company.
Yes, that's right, A. How can I help you today?
Well, I was just thinking about how we can use NLP to analyze customer sentiment on social media. Do you think it's possible?
Absolutely. With the right algorithms and data, we can detect emotions like happiness, sadness, and anger in text and even in images.
Wow, that sounds really powerful. How do we get started?
First, we'll need to gather a large dataset of social media posts that are relevant to our business. Then we can use machine learning techniques to train models that can detect sentiment.
That makes sense. And what kind of tools do we need to do this?
We can use popular NLP libraries such as NLTK and Spacey to pre-process the text data and extract useful features. For training the models, we can use frameworks such as TensorFlow or PyTorch.
I see. And how accurate can we expect these models to be?
It depends on the quality of the data and the complexity of the task. But with proper validation and tuning, we can achieve accuracy rates of over 90%.
That's really impressive. Are there any challenges we should be aware of?
One challenge is dealing with sarcasm and irony, which can be difficult for machines to understand. We'll also need to consider privacy concerns and ethical issues when collecting and analyzing personal data.
Right, those are both important considerations. But overall, it sounds like NLP can offer a lot of value to our business.
Definitely. In addition to sentiment analysis, we can use NLP for tasks like text classification, summarization, and translation.
Wow, that's a lot of potential applications. Thanks for explaining all of this, B.
You're welcome, hey. It's always exciting to explore the possibilities of NLP and see what we can accomplish with it.
Hey B, have you heard about the new initiative of using machine learning to implement a smart electricity grid?
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept. The idea is to use real-time data to optimize the distribution of energy throughout the grid.
Exactly. With the help of machine learning algorithms, we can predict the demand and supply of electricity more accurately and efficiently.
And not just that, it can also help reduce energy loss, which leads to lower production costs and ultimately benefits the end consumers.
Oh yes, and with the implementation of IoT devices, we can collect data from various sensors and make more informed decisions.
True, but the challenge is to ensure the security of the data and avoid any potential cyber threats.
That's a valid point. But let's focus on the upside. Imagine the possibilities with a fully optimized and automated smart grid.
Absolutely. It could potentially revolutionize the energy sector and bring about massive positive change.
I couldn't agree more. It's exciting to be a part of this project and contribute to a greener and more sustainable future.
Yes, and as data and machine learning engineers, we have an essential role to play in realizing this vision. Let's do our best.
Indeed. Well, it was great chatting with you, B. I'll see you around.
Likewise, hey. Take care, and let's catch up soon.
Hey, what do you usually do for exercise?
Oh, I like to mix it up. Sometimes I go for a run or a bike ride, but I also enjoy yoga and weightlifting. How about you?
I'm more of a team sports kind of person. Basketball and soccer are my go-tos.
That's cool. It's always more fun to play with others.
Yeah, definitely. Plus, it keeps me accountable to show up to practice and games.
I feel the same way about my yoga class. I have a friend who goes with me and we keep each other motivated.
That's a great idea. I might have to find a workout buddy too.
It really does make a difference. So, which do you prefer, working out inside or outside?
I'd say it depends on the weather. I don't mind a little rain, but I don't want to be stuck in a snowstorm.
Yeah, I get that. I love being outside in the sunshine, but I also appreciate a good AC in the gym on hot days.
Totally agree. And do you listen to music while you work out?
Absolutely. It helps me get in the zone and keeps me going when I start to get tired.
Me too. I have a playlist specifically for workouts that pumps me up.
Oh, nice. What's your go-to song?
Right now, it's Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. Always gets me hyped.
Classic choice. Mine is Can't Stop by the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I'll have to add it to my playlist.
For sure. Well, it was nice chatting with you about our exercise routines. Keep up the good work.
You too, see you around. Hey, have you heard about the chef at this restaurant? He's quite famous.
Oh, really? What's so special about him?
Apparently, he's known for his fusion cuisine.
Ah, that sounds promising. I can't wait to try it out.
The dishes we ordered are supposed to be a mix of Asian and Western flavors. Let's give it a try.
Wow, this is amazing. The presentation alone is beautiful.
And the flavors are just as good as they look. I particularly love the ginger-infused sauce.
Yeah, and the way he uses spices and herbs in each dish is just masterful. This is truly a high-end dining experience.
It's not every day that we get to eat in a 5-star restaurant, but this is definitely worth it.
Absolutely. I feel like we're living the high life right now.
And to think we almost didn't come here. This was definitely the right choice.
I couldn't agree more. Hey, should we order desserts next?
Of course. I heard the chef's specialty is a chocolate souffle that's to die for.
Oh man, my mouth is watering just thinking about it. Let's do it.
Good morning, B. How are you feeling today?
I'm doing okay, just a little nervous about this checkup.
Don't worry, it's just a routine checkup. Let's start by taking your blood pressure.
Okay, sounds good.
Great, your blood pressure is looking good today. Now, let's check your temperature.
Do people ever have a fever and not realize it?
It's possible, but usually when someone has a fever, they feel warm and tired.
Interesting, I guess I've never paid that much attention to my body temperature before.
That's okay, that's what I'm here for. Now, let's check your heart rate.
Is it normal to be nervous during a checkup?
Yes, it's completely normal. But try to relax, take deep breaths.
Deep breath, okay, I'll try.
Great job, your heart rate is looking good too. Anything else you want to ask me?
How often should I be getting these checkups?
It depends on your overall health and medical history, but generally, it's recommended to get a checkup at least once a year.
Got it. Thanks so much for making this easy, Nurse A.
My pleasure, B. Take care and let us know if you need anything else. Hey there, B. How's the database design for the new e-commerce system coming along?
Hi, A. It's been challenging, but I've managed to finalize the data table structure for SQL Server.
That's great to hear. Can you give me a quick rundown of the design?
Sure. We've got separate tables for customer information, orders, products, and transactions that record all the payments made.
Interesting. How about user authentication and authorization tables?
Good point. I've created a separate table to manage user roles and permissions to ensure proper access control.
Awesome. What about implementing data encryption and backups for security purposes?
Yes, that's taken care of too. The system will automatically encrypt sensitive data and create daily backups for disaster recovery.
Impressive. Have you considered scalability and performance issues?
Absolutely. The tables have been optimized to handle a significant volume of data and queries without affecting system performance.
Great job, B. I'm sure this design will take our e-commerce system to new heights.
Thank you, A. It's been quite a team effort, and I'm glad to have contributed to its success.
Definitely. Let's celebrate with some coffee later.
Sounds like a plan. I could use a little pick-me-up after working on this intricate database design.
Hey there, B. How are you doing today?
I'm good, A. How about you?
I'm great, thanks for asking. I was thinking about our big data processing, and I have some ideas to optimize it.
That's great to hear, A. What do you have in mind?
Firstly, we can implement some compression techniques to reduce the size of our data, which will improve processing time.
That's a good start. What other techniques can we use?
Another technique we can use is parallel processing. By dividing the work into smaller units, we can process them simultaneously, which will speed up the process.
That sounds like a good idea. But we also need to ensure that our data is accurate, right?
Absolutely. We can do that by using data validation techniques. This will help eliminate any errors and ensure our data is correct.
That's a great suggestion, A. But how about the security of our data?
Good point, B. We can use encryption techniques to keep our data secure. This will protect the data from unauthorized access.
All these techniques sound great, A. But can you help me understand more about the process of implementing these techniques?
Sure, B. We can start by analyzing our current data processing methods and identifying areas for improvement. Once done, we can start implementing the techniques one by one.
Okay, that makes sense. But how will we monitor the effectiveness of these techniques?
We can use various monitoring tools to analyze the performance of our system. This will help us identify any bottlenecks and optimize our system.
That's really informative, A. I think we should start implementing these techniques right away.
Absolutely. Let's work together and make the most of our big data processing.
Sounds like a plan, A. Thanks for your insights.
Hey, have you ever tried tacos?
Of course. Who hasn't?
Well, I haven't. What's your favorite kind?
I have to go with the classic beef taco. But honestly, anything with guac on it is a winner in my book.
I've always been curious about them. Are they spicy?
It depends on how they're made. But don't worry, you can always ask for mild salsa.
That's good to know. And what's with the hard shell versus soft shell debate?
It's all about personal preference. I like the crunch of a hard shell, but some people prefer the chewiness of a soft shell.
Interesting. And do you have any other favorite toppings besides guac?
Oh yes, definitely. I love adding sour cream, cheese, and some diced tomatoes.
Yum. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Do you know any good taco places around here?
Absolutely, there's a great spot just a couple of blocks away. Let's go grab some tacos for lunch.
Sounds like a plan. I can't believe I've been missing out on such a delicious dish. Thanks for introducing me to tacos.
Anytime. Once you try them, you'll never go back.
Hi there, B. It's a beautiful day to be working in this garden.
Indeed it is, A. I can't wait to get started. What do you have in mind for today's design?
Well, I was thinking of incorporating some new shrubs and bushes around that corner, maybe some colorful perennials in the front.
That sounds like a great idea. I was planning on trimming the hedges and mowing the lawn to make it all look neat and tidy.
Perfect. We'll make this garden the envy of the whole neighborhood. Speaking of which, have you seen Mrs. Johnson's garden down the way?
Oh yes, she has quite the green thumb. Her roses are gorgeous.
Agreed. But I think we can give her a run for her money with today's additions. Let's get to work.
Absolutely. By the end of the day, this space will be transformed into a blooming paradise.
And we'll deserve a nice cold drink to reward ourselves for our hard work.
Sounds like a plan. I have some ice-cold lemonade in my cooler. It'll be the perfect refreshment.
Ah, that sounds like heaven. Let's get to work so we can enjoy that refreshing drink in no time. Hi, Professor B. Can we talk about my academic progress?
Of course, hey. How's everything going?
It's been good so far. But I'm struggling with one subject, math.
Math can be tricky sometimes. Have you been practicing?
Yes, but I still find it difficult.
Have you tried using online resources or asking for help from classmates?
Not yet. But I think I'll give those a try.
That's a good idea. Don't hesitate to ask for help. We all need assistance sometimes.
That's true. On a lighter note, have you seen the latest superhero movie?
Not yet. But I heard it's amazing.
Yes, it's action-packed and hilarious.
Sounds like a good stress reliever. Remember to take breaks from studying and enjoy some fun activities.
Absolutely. I'm planning on going to a concert next month with some friends.
That sounds like a great idea. Balancing your studies with social activities is important for your overall well-being.
Thank you for your advice, Professor B. I'll keep that in mind.
Anytime, hey. Just remember to stay focused and keep working hard. I believe in you.
Hey, have you heard about the latest trend in supply chain management? It's all about digitalization.
Really? How does it work?
Well, the idea is to integrate technology into every aspect of the supply chain, from sourcing materials to delivering products, to streamline the process and cut costs.
Ah, I see. So instead of relying on manual processes and paperwork, everything is done digitally.
Exactly. By digitizing the supply chain, companies can monitor inventory levels in real time, automate ordering and payment processes, and even track shipments using GPS.
Wow, that sounds like a game changer. Do you think it's something our company should consider?
Absolutely. In fact, I've been reading up on some case studies where companies have seen significant improvements in efficiency and cost savings after implementing digital supply chain solutions.
That's great to hear. What are some of the challenges that come with this approach?
Well, one common issue is data management. When you have so many different systems and processes in place, it can be tricky to keep everything aligned and accurate.
That makes sense. What about security? Is there a risk of cyber attacks or data breaches?
Yes, that's definitely a concern. But there are ways to minimize the risk, like using encryption and authentication protocols, and working with trustworthy vendors.
Good point. What about training? Do you think it would be difficult to get everyone on board with this new system?
It could be a challenge, but with proper training and communication, I think we could get everyone up to speed pretty quickly.
Okay, I'm convinced. Let's explore this further and see if it's something we can implement in our own supply chain.
Great. I'll start looking into some vendors and solutions. Thanks for the chat.
No problem, always happy to learn something new. Let's circle back once you have some more information to share.
Hey, B. How are you doing today?
Hi A, I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. I was thinking about the e-commerce website we're working on. Do you think the user experience can be improved?
Definitely, what do you have in mind?
Well, I was thinking maybe we could update the UI design to make it more modern and visually appealing.
I agree, but we should also focus on improving the site's functionality. Do you have any ideas on that?
Yes, I think we should simplify the checkout process and make it more user-friendly.
That's a good point. We should also incorporate responsive design to ensure the site is optimized for mobile and tablet users.
Absolutely. I also think we should add some personalized product recommendations based on the user's browsing and purchase history.
Yes, that's definitely something we can implement. How about adding a chatbot for customer support?
That's a great idea. It can be used for answering frequently asked questions and providing assistance during the checkout process.
Exactly. On top of that, we could also introduce a loyalty program to incentivize repeat customers.
Oh, I love that idea. We can offer discounts, exclusive deals, and free shipping for frequent shoppers.
Right, and we could also offer a referral program where customers can earn rewards for referring their friends.
Genius. Another thing we should consider is improving the loading speed of the site.
Yes, we can optimize the images, compress the files, and minify the code to make it faster.
Definitely. And what about simplifying the navigation for the site?
We can reorganize the categories and add a search bar to make it easier for users to find what they need.
Great point, B. I think we have some solid ideas to make this an unforgettable shopping experience.
Agreed, let's get started and revolutionize our client's e-commerce website.
Good morning, friend. I am excited to work with you today in creating some delicious chocolate treats.
Hello there. The pleasure is all mine. I've been looking forward to working with you too.
So, let's start by making the base for our famous chocolate cake. Do you have any special recipe in mind?
Absolutely. I have a secret recipe that has been passed down in my family for generations. It always turns out perfect.
That sounds fantastic. I cannot wait to try it out. You can teach me how to make it and we can add our own twist to it too.
Great idea. We can add some toppings and fillings to make it even more delicious.
Yes, we certainly can. I was planning on using some fresh strawberries and whipped cream.
That sounds delightful. I also have some caramel sauce that could be a decadent addition.
That's perfect. With all these ingredients combined, we will surely make a masterpiece.
I agree. Now let's move on to making some chocolate truffles. Do you have any favorite flavors?
Dark chocolate is my all-time favorite. How about you?
Same here. I love dark chocolate with hazelnut. It's the perfect combination.
I couldn't agree more. We can dust them with some cocoa powder and sprinkle with crushed hazelnuts too.
That's a brilliant idea. Our customers will definitely love it.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see their faces when they taste our creations.
Me too. I think it's going to be an amazing day of work and lots of fun too.
Yes, indeed. We'll learn from each other and make something truly special.
Agreed. Let's get started and make some delicious treats today.
Good morning, B. It looks like we'll have another busy day at the cafe.
Hi A. Yes, it's always busy here in Osaka. But I love it.
Me too. So, which dessert have you sold the most this week?
That would definitely be your signature cheesecake. It goes perfectly with our drip coffee.
That's great to hear. I just made a fresh batch this morning.
You know what would go well with that? Our new matcha latte. It's been a hit among our regular customers.
Good idea. I'll make sure to recommend that combo to our customers.
Speaking of customers, have you met the new regular who always orders the chocolate lava cake?
Oh, him. Yes, he always asks for it to be heated up extra hot.
Laughs, yeah, he's quite the character. I always make sure to get it right, otherwise he'll send it back.
Laughs, well, we take customer satisfaction seriously.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, have you seen the reviews on our cafe's website? They're all glowing.
That's fantastic news. It feels great to know that our hard work is appreciated.
Definitely. So, what's new on the menu next week?
I'm thinking of adding some seasonal fruits to our tart selection. And maybe a new coffee blend?
Sounds exciting. I can't wait to try them out.
Me too. All right, let's get ready for another busy day.
Let's do it. Coffee and cake, anyone?
Hey, have you heard about the Internet of Things?
Yeah, I have. It's basically when all your appliances are connected to the internet, right?
Exactly. It's pretty cool, but also kind of creepy.
How so?
Well, imagine if your fridge knew how much milk you had left and automatically ordered more for you.
Ha, that sounds convenient.
Yeah, but what if it starts getting too smart and realizes you eat too many cookies and stops buying them for you?
Oh no, that's a nightmare.
Right? And what about security concerns? What if someone hacks into your microwave and starts cooking your food without your consent?
Ha, that would be hilariously bad.
But honestly, the possibilities for IoT are endless. It can make our lives so much easier, like imagine coming home to a warm house because your thermostat connected to your phone and knows when you're close by.
Yeah, or even just having your phone remind you when to water your plants because it's connected to a sensor.
That's true. And we can also reduce waste and save money with smart energy management, like having our lights or AC turn off automatically when we leave the room.
Wow, there's so much potential. But I guess we'll also have to learn how to fix more tech problems ourselves since everything's connected.
Yeah, but we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. Overall, I think the Internet of Things will change the game. Good evening, welcome to our restaurant. What can I get for you tonight? That sounds delicious. Any other recommendations? That's great to hear. Can you tell me more about our drink menu? Perfect, I'll keep that in mind. What about desserts? Yum, that sounds amazing. Let's get started on making those orders. I wouldn't mind a glass of that Pinot Noir myself. Thank you, we will. And you, do you have any recommendations of places to visit in Berlin? Not yet, but I would love to go. That's great, I'll make sure to check it out. Thanks for the recommendations. Excuse me, miss. Would it be possible to request for some extra snacks? I'm feeling quite famished.
Of course, sir. I'll see what I can do for you. Our snacks are quite popular, so I hope you'll enjoy them.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm a bit of a foodie, so I always look forward to trying new things.
That's great to hear, sir. We have a wide variety of snacks available, from your classic potato chips to more exotic options like wasabi peas.
I think I'll go for the wasabi peas. I've never tried those before.
Excellent choice, sir. They're definitely a bit spicy, so make sure you have a drink handy.
Will do. I always welcome a bit of a challenge when it comes to spicy food.
Well, I hope you're up for it, sir. Our wasabi peas are definitely not for the faint of heart.
I'll take my chances. Oh, and while you're here, would you happen to have any recommendations for other snacks or the like?
Absolutely. Have you tried our cheese and crackers? They're quite popular among our passengers.
Ooh, sounds like a tasty combo. I'll definitely give those a try as well.
Great, sir. I'll bring those out to you shortly. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that's all for now. Thank you for your help and recommendations, miss.
It's been my pleasure, sir. Enjoy your snacks and have a pleasant flight.
Hey B, what movie do you want to watch tonight?
How about we watch a comedy?
Sounds good to me. Let's see what we have on Netflix.
Ooh, what about that new movie with Rebel Wilson?
Isn't it romantic? I heard that's hilarious. Let's watch it.
Great idea, Dad. Do we have popcorn?
Of course we do. I'll go make some while you get comfortable on the couch.
Thanks, Dad. You're the best.
No problem, sweetheart. Anything for my little princess.
Laughs, Dad. I'm not a little girl anymore.
Laughs, you'll always be my little girl, no matter how old you are.
Ah, Dad. You're so corny sometimes.
Grins guilty as charged. Now, where's that remote?
Hands it over, here you go. Let's get this movie started.
Starts the movie, get ready to laugh your socks off, kiddo.
Settles in with her popcorn, I'm already excited. This is going to be so much fun.
Agreed. There's nothing like a good comedy to lift your spirits.
Especially when you're watching it with your awesome dad.
Smiles, I couldn't have said it better myself. Let the fun begin. Hello, I'm a marketing officer here. How can I help you today?
Hi, I'm a student here and I'm interested in your student recruitment program.
That's great to hear. What areas are you interested in?
I'm interested in the engineering and computer science department.
Excellent. Our engineering department is well known for its cutting-edge technology, and our computer science department is always on the forefront of the latest advancements.
That sounds really cool. What kind of extracurricular activities are available for students?
We have a wide range of activities available, including clubs for coding, robotics, and even a gaming club. We also have several community service opportunities available.
Wow, that all sounds really interesting. Plus, the campus is beautiful.
Yes, we're quite proud of our campus. We have a lot of green spaces and plenty of amenities, too.
I can definitely see myself here. What's the admission process like?
First, you'll need to submit an application and any required materials. From there, we'll schedule an interview and possibly an entrance exam. We'll notify you of our decision within 2 to 3 weeks.
Sounds straightforward. Thank you so much for your help.
No problem, happy to be of assistance. Good luck with your application. Hey, B. How's everything going?
Hi, A. Everything's good. Just working on some upcoming gigs.
Oh yeah, speaking of gigs, have you heard about that new artist Jay?
Jay? Oh, you mean the one who just got signed? Yeah, I heard about him.
Yeah, that's the one. I was thinking we could possibly collaborate with him for a show.
That's not a bad idea. What did you have in mind?
Well, I was thinking a mix of his new stuff and some of my old classics.
I like where you're going with that. What about venues?
I was thinking maybe a local club or bar, keep it intimate.
All right, I'll start scouting out some places. And we'll need to figure out Jay's availability.
Sounds good. And maybe we could even throw in a surprise guest appearance?
Ooh, I like the way you think. Let's make it happen.
Awesome, can't wait to see it all come together.
Me too. But for now, back to the grind.
Yep, let's get back to work. Talk to you soon.
Definitely. Take care, hey.
Hi there. I heard great things about this street's food. Can you recommend something?
Absolutely. Our signature dish is the Hong Kong-style egg tart. It's a must-try.
Sounds delicious. Can I have one?
Of course you can. Here you go. Hands over the tart.
Wow, this is amazing. The crust is so flaky and the custard filling is just the right amount of sweetness. What other dishes do you recommend?
You should try the barbecue pork buns. They are very popular here.
Great suggestion, I'll take 2 please.
Here you go. Hands over the buns.
This is so yummy. I love the sweet and savory combination.
I'm glad you like it. We also have some delicious dim sum options.
I don't know which one to choose, can you give me a recommendation?
The shrimp hargao and pork shumai are very popular among our customers.
Okay, I'll take one of each.
Here they are. Hands over the dim sum.
These are fantastic. The filling is bursting with flavor and the skin is perfectly cooked. I can't wait to come back and try more of your dishes.
Thank you. We take pride in our traditional Cantonese cuisine. It was nice serving you today.
Good morning everyone, let's start our meeting. B, can you please give us an update on the progress of our project?
Good morning, boss. The project is going well. We just need to fine-tune some aspects before it's ready for launch.
That's good to hear, B. How about the marketing plan?
The marketing team is working on it. The strategy is to focus on social media and influencer marketing.
Great, we need to make sure the product stands out in the market. Speaking of which, has everyone seen the latest Netflix series?
Yes. It's been so popular lately. People are talking about it everywhere.
I know, right? What's your favorite character, B?
I'd have to say the funny sidekick. He always puts a smile on my face.
Haha, I know who you're talking about. I like the main character's determination. He's so inspiring.
Definitely. We can learn a lot from him in terms of pushing through obstacles.
Good point, B. Now, let's get back to the project. Anybody else have any suggestions or ideas to contribute? Excellent idea, C. Let's explore that option further. Alright, thank you everyone for the updates and suggestions. Let's continue to work hard and make this project a success. Welcome to the Counseling Center, how can I help you today?
Hi, I'm feeling a little stressed about my upcoming exams. Can you give me some advice on how to cope?
Of course. One method that might help is practicing good time management. Make a schedule and stick to it. Also, don't forget to take breaks and do something fun to de-stress.
That sounds like a good idea. Any other tips for managing stress?
Yes, exercise is a fantastic way to reduce stress. Even a short walk can help clear your mind and improve your mood.
That's great advice. Speaking of exercise, I've been meaning to try yoga. Do you think that could help with my stress levels?
Absolutely, yoga is known to be a great stress reducer. It combines physical activity with mindfulness and relaxation techniques.
That sounds perfect. Thank you so much for your advice. I'm feeling better already.
You're welcome. Remember to prioritize self-care and reach out for help whenever you need it. We're always here to support you.
Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll be sure to keep all of your advice in mind.
Great, I'm glad I could help. Don't hesitate to come back if you ever need anything else. Hey B, how's it going?
Pretty good, thanks. What brings you here?
I'm actually trying to figure out how to test this new e-commerce platform I am working on. Any ideas?
Sure thing, what have you tried so far?
Well, I have been running a few automated tests, but there are always bugs that slip through the cracks.
I hear you. Have you tried exploring the platform's user interface?
Yeah, I have. But I am afraid I might overlook something important.
That's a valid concern. How about asking other team members for their input?
That's a good idea. What about you? Have you ever worked on an e-commerce platform before?
Yes, I have. My team and I used a combination of manual and automated testing strategies to thoroughly check all functionality.
Interesting. Do you think that approach would work for my project?
It definitely could. At the end of the day, it's all about finding the right balance between different testing methods.
I see what you mean. Do you have any tips for creating effective test cases?
One approach is to think from the perspective of a user and to try and anticipate any potential problems they might encounter.
Makes sense. What about performance testing?
That can be a bit trickier. But one way to do it is to simulate high levels of traffic and see how the platform holds up.
Good point. And what about security testing?
That's also important. You can use a combination of automated and manual testing to check for vulnerabilities.
Great advice, B. Thanks for your insight.
No problem, happy to help. Let me know if there's anything else I can do.
Actually, could I take a look at your testing plan for your e-commerce platform project?
Sure thing, let me grab my laptop.
Hi there, I'm a travel consultant and I'm here to help my clients rent a car for their trip. How can you assist us?
Hi, I'm a car rental staff. I'd love to help. What kind of car would you like to rent?
Well, my clients are a family of 4 looking to travel around Melbourne for a week. They were thinking a mid-size SUV would be ideal.
Fantastic. We have several choices in that category. What are some of their must-see destinations?
They would like to see the Great Ocean Road and Phillip Island, and of course, visit the Melbourne Zoo.
Those are great choices. I highly recommend taking the coastal route along the Great Ocean Road. It's absolutely stunning.
Yes, that was one of my recommendations too. How about any food recommendations for them?
There are so many great restaurants and cafes in Melbourne. The famous Queen Victoria Market is a must-visit for food lovers. My personal favorite is Movida, which serves excellent tapas.
I'll definitely recommend that to them. How about driving tips for first-time visitors?
Drivers in Melbourne drive on the left side of the road, so it may take some getting used to. Make sure to always wear your seatbelt and obey all traffic laws.
Thank you for your help. This will definitely make their trip much more enjoyable.
You're welcome. It's great to see visitors enjoy our beautiful city. Have a great day.
Wow, the stars look incredible tonight. B, I know, it's like we're staring into a whole new universe.
I know, it's like we're staring into a whole new universe.
Do you have a favorite constellation? B, definitely Orion, it's always been my go-to.
Definitely Orion, it's always been my go-to.
Same here, but have you ever seen the Southern Cross? B, you mean the one on the Australian flag? A, that's the one.
You mean the one on the Australian flag? That's the one.
Haha, I can see why you'd say that.
Yeah, but I've always thought it looks more like a kite than a cross. Haha, I can see why you'd say that.
Have you ever wanted to be an astronaut and explore space? B, of course, who hasn't? But I don't think I have the stomach for zero gravity.
Of course, who hasn't? But I don't think I have the stomach for zero gravity.
Yeah, I hear that can be quite disorienting. B, so, what do you think we'll discover next in space? A, I have a feeling there's more to black holes that we haven't even imagined yet.
So, what do you think we'll discover next in space? I have a feeling there's more to black holes that we haven't even imagined yet.
Right? But that's what makes astronomy so exciting, the unknown.
That's both fascinating and terrifying at the same time. Right? But that's what makes astronomy so exciting, the unknown.
Speaking of unknown, have you ever seen a UFO? B, I can't say I have, but I'm always on the lookout. A, me too, it would be quite the experience.
I can't say I have, but I'm always on the lookout. Me too, it would be quite the experience.
I wish for clear skies for the rest of our stargazing tonight.
Hey look, a shooting star. Quick, make a wish. I wish for clear skies for the rest of our stargazing tonight.
Your wish is my command. But, if it starts to cloud over, we can always head to the nearby pub for a pint. B, now that's an excellent backup plan.
Now that's an excellent backup plan.
Hi there, B. How's it going?
Hi A, I'm doing well. Excited to be interning here.
We're glad to have you. So, have you had a chance to take a look at our research projects yet?
Yes, I have. The projects seem very interesting, especially the one about drones and their behavior.
Yes. That's my project. I'm trying to understand how drones communicate with each other.
That's cool. So, how are you planning to gather data?
Well, I have a few drones set up to fly around and observe them, but it's difficult to get close without disrupting their communication.
Have you tried disguising yourself as a drone?
Laughs, that would be funny, but I don't think that would work. Plus, drones are more technologically advanced these days.
Laughs, you're probably right. Maybe we can try a stealth approach in observation.
That's not a bad idea. And we can attach a small camera to the drones to get a better picture of what's happening.
Yes, that could be a good way to not disturb them and still gather data.
Great idea, B. I'll definitely look into that. Thanks for your input.
Of course, happy to help.
By the way, have you had a chance to go to the coffee shop down the street? They have the best lattes.
No, I haven't been there yet. Thanks for the recommendation.
No problem. It's a great place to take a break and recharge.
Sounds perfect. I'll check it out during my lunch break.
Okay, let us know how it is. Anyway, back to work. We have a lot of data to collect.
Got it. Let's get to it.
Good afternoon. Welcome to our beauty salon. How may I assist you?
Hi, I have a wedding to attend next week, and I want to get a makeover.
Of course, we have a range of services available to suit your needs. May I know what kind of look you want?
Well, I was hoping for a natural and subtle look, but something that would still stand out.
Great. We have a package called Bridal Beauty, which would be perfect for you. It includes a facial, makeup, and hairdo.
That sounds perfect. Can you suggest a hairstyle that would suit my face shape?
Based on your face shape, I would suggest a loose bun or soft curls.
Okay, I trust your expertise. What kind of makeup would you suggest?
We can go for a natural, dewy look with accentuated eyes and lips.
Sounds good to me. How long will the entire process take?
The entire process will take approximately 2 hours. We have complimentary drinks and snacks to keep you comfortable.
That's great. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions or concerns, feel free to let me know. We want to make sure you have a pleasant experience.